Good evening, guys. Welcome to another Saturday evening. And we have Dear Love Survival on the panel. Good to see
Good
you
evening,
again.
Shadow. Thanks for having us on. Good to see you too. Hi, everyone in the chat.
Yeah, I see on YouTube popped in 4:47, so that was quite early. And then Dior's popped in 7:20 p.m., so that was a little bit closer. Yeah. We wait a couple of more minutes and wait and see if there will pop in some people.
Sure.
Yeah, at the moment it's 0 in the house, except for you and me. So,
Well, that's cool. That's okay. They might be still enjoying maybe certain festivities. Who knows?
yeah.
Maybe still busy.
Yeah.
Uh,
And Dior's is in the house.
he'll be
Okay.
joining soon.
Yeah. Good. Good to see you again, Dior's.
How's your week, Shadow? How was your week?
Pretty rough week. I had a nightmare on Monday. I had 4 routes I had to deal with. That took the edge of me. Tuesday were a little bit better, and Wednesday were a little bit better. And Thursday were quite rough, and yesterday were really rough. So,
Hi, Grumpy Adventures.
Good to see you. We wait a couple of more minutes before we get into today's and this evening's topic.
Yep, great topic.
Yeah, nonverbal acoustic signatures and identification.
What made you come up with that one?
I want some really rare topics for preparedness topics, prepping topics, basically. So I came up with it. With the help of Gemini. So
Right.
I put it together that way. So.
Well, great subject. It covers a lot of different things. You know, from simple things like universal understanding, gestures, a smile, expressing emotions, complementing verbal, messages, conveying confidence, non-verbal hand signals. Great subject.
Yeah, I have actually a couple of notes for the topic for today. So,
body language, eye contact.
Basically, it is nonverbal acoustic signatures and identification. This topic focuses on the high-level sensory and cognitive skill of identifying and classifying objects, structures, and mechanical states purely by their emitted sound profiles.
Wow. Okay.
So the angle is using advanced auditory diagnostics to gain intelligence about unseen elements. And it is also engine and machine fault diagnostics, acoustic, identifying specific mechanical faults, loose bearings, worn gears, fuel mixture issues, in salvaged engines or complex machines solely by
Right.
analyzing the pitch, rhythm and deviation of the operating sounds. Wind and flow profile mapping, interpreting the frequency changes and harmonics of wind passing over terrain, wires, or trees to accurately map the presence of unseen wind corridors, turbulence zones, and sudden gust vectors. Footstep and gait biometrics, acoustic, discriminating between different human subjects, weight, footwear, intent, and non-human animals purely by the subtle acoustic signatures of their gait and the pressure they exert on the ground. That is basically what this topic is about.
Wow. Wow. I
Hey,
wonder
Grumpy.
if the elephants that run away from the tsunami, they can understand that those the vibrations and stuff. Oh, there's a tsunami coming.
Yeah. Grumpy says, Shadow, of late you have come up with some very thought-provoking subjects. Keep it up, buddy. Yeah, I do my best. Hey, it's good to see you again, ma'am. Always nice to see you. But I think this is could be an interesting topic, actually. And Guardian in the house as well.
Hey, Guardian.
I do like to put the link for him so he can join. Or otherwise I forget it until he's mentioned it.
Yeah. So, what's it been like in Sweden in terms of fireworks? Do people just go around just randomly setting them off?
Yeah, some people do, some are not doing it randomly. Here you need to be on certain special selected areas to use fireworks, actually.
That's a good idea.
Or otherwise, you burn some other guy's house down, and you don't want that.
Certainly not. No.
So it's really hard to. There are regulations when it comes to fireworks. He's has been quite more tightened, so tighten up. So. Hey, Davo. Good to see you again. So, yeah, there we have GP.
Hey, Guardian.
Hey, Guardian.
Hey, good evening, guys. Hope you're doing well. Hey to everybody in the chat.
I had a quite tough day today, so I assembled my new bed, actually. You can raise the head end and the your foot end as well, so it's quite heavy. It's a heavy bed.
You'll be sitting there like playing with it the first few days. I'm not getting out of bed today. I just want to play with the bed. How are you, Guardian?
Oh. I don't know what happened there.
Oh.
But anyway, for
Hope
For
he's
an
okay.
example, yeah. We can begin with a topic. Well, we can begin with an example. Mechanics, they are really good to spot what's wrong by the sound of the engine.
Sorry, Dave. Sorry, Dewey, love. Sorry, Shadow. I just.
No problem. It
I thought I
happens.
said something wrong. Oh no, what did I
No,
say?
no, nothing at all. I'm a very low drama person. Well, I try to be.
I know. I was only kidding.
You doing all right?
I was about to say, Guardian, are you a good mechanic? And then he went off, and then we was like, and then Shadow said, okay, let's get on with the topic. And then he said, mechanics are good at listening.
Good. Yeah, they know exactly what's wrong with the engine by listening to the sound. They're really good at it.
Well, I think once you get used to it and you know the sound, and you know, my brother was like that. He'd go, yeah, that's wrong with it. And I mean, certain sounds you might recognise, like the tap. Is it the tappets? I mean, I know a little bit, but not a lot. Certain things have got to get adjusted, what have you. That's amazing skill, though. You're right. I mean, I'm nowhere near like a mechanic is.
Well, I'm not either. I have a friend. He's a mechanic, and he could hear. It's a little issue. It's a leak there. Oh, what? How do you know that? I hear that. I can hear it. I don't. Okay.
Yeah, because we know the sound of a car engine turning over, you know, getting ready to turn over.
Yeah.
Oh, once I was a long time ago when I was a teenager, I was walking with my girlfriend. We were just walking along. I wasn't working at that time. I was embarrassingly, financial situation wasn't great, and this guy was having trouble with his car on the side of the road. So I said, "What's wrong with your car?" He said, "It won't start." I said, "Turn the key," and it kind of made an effort to turn the engine. I was trying to listen, and I said, "Have you got anything like a hammer or anything like a big spanner or something like that?" So he said, "Yeah." He gave me something. So I whacked the alternator. I think it was the alternator or something like that. I just gave it a few taps, and then said, "Turn the engine on," and it started. I thought, wow, it did work, because I've heard someone say in the part before that if you tap the certain point, I think it's the alternator, give it a little tap, and that'll get it going, and it did. And the guy gave me like £10. I remember that. I was, as a youngster, I said, okay, to my girlfriend, let's go and paint the town red. Not. Anyway, that was you like you said. I mean, I wasn't listening like I was I just happened to know about that little trick. Has that happened to you before, Guardian?
So yeah, when it comes to motor vehicles like cars, for the most part, I understand the basics around cars, but I much prefer working on bikes. Any bike from like 2015, a lot of these new electric bikes and that, I don't have any idea how to work on them. But a lot of the older bikes, I understand like my way around as well, a wrench. Like when it comes to like dirt bikes are pretty stationary and understandable. Like it's pretty easy to do a lot of work on a dirt bike or like bikes in general. But like that's why I understand the basics of cars just through my understanding of bikes. But so motorcycle repairs, like when it comes down to some of the heavier stuff as well, that's where I also get assistance. But for the most part, things like if my bike stops on the side of the road, I know how to like get it starting again.
Good skill to have. Take off, undo the distributor, clean that. I mean, back in the old days, you could just do simple little things. But now, like you said, did you just say that since 2017, a lot of bikes are electric, or the electric?
Well,
the
way they design, the way they design a lot of the more modern bikes as well, they have a lot more electronic components. So it's a lot more wiring and a lot more electrics. Like when it comes, but that's speaking about like some of your more advanced tourers and adventure bikes and sports bikes as well. I mean, if you look at something like the Kawasaki H2, it's still the same principle. There's still a lot of the same mechanics, still a lot of the same ways that you can go around it, but it does get a little bit technical when it comes to the electrical components of them.
Wow. Yeah. I remember back in the past, if anything was wrong with your car, you could just push it. Your car won't start, and sometimes you could just push the car, and you see guys on bikes doing that. Can you? So you no longer can start a bike like that no more. It's too electronic components.
Yeah, you don't even, obviously, like since the time of kickstarts and stuff as well, and you can push starts like a lot of bikes as long as you get that spark going, as long as you like have pretty much a good ignition, you're solid. But for the most part as well, when it comes to just like roadside jobs and that as well, it's usually electrical, like just basic electrical, which isn't too bad.
All handy to know, all these.
Yeah.
I think having a dedicated person that's like a part of your like group is absolutely important. And when it comes to somebody that really knows like cars back to front, that's actually been doing work with them for like a long time, it's really good. Head yours.
For you guys who are new, just popped in. This topic, nonverbal acoustic signatures and identification. This focuses on the high-level sensory and cognitive skill of identifying and classifying objects, structures, and mechanical states purely by their emitted sound profiles. Using advanced auditory diagnostics to gain intelligence about unseen elements. Engine and machine fault diagnostics, identifying specific mechanical faults, loose bearings, worn gears, fuel mixture issues in several engines, or complex machines solely by analyzing the pitch, rhythm, and deviation of the operating sounds. Wind and flow profile mapping, interpreting the frequency changes and harmonics of wind passing over terrain, wires, or trees to accurately map the presence of unseen wind corridors, turbulence zones, and sudden gust vectors. Footstep and gait biometrics, discriminating between different human subjects, weight, footwear, intent, and non-human animals purely by the subtle acoustic signatures of their gait in the pressure they exert on the ground. That is what this topic is about, basically. So what do you say, Guardian?
Good. I just wanted to let yours have a bit of a chat as well about the mechanics side. Like, what are your feelings on that as well when it comes to that? Because before we get into that topic, Shadow.
I was going to say some of that. So like I said, as some of you may or may not know, I used to be in the U.S. Navy. I was a submariner. And one of the forms of communication that we learned, as crazy as it sounds, as dumb as it sounds, would be like, taps and pings on the hull of the ship, noise transients. But the one thing in particular for like the escape trunk on the submarine, if in case it was a disabled submarine that was stuck at the bottom on the ocean floor, we had these capsules, these watertight, pressure-tight capsules that would equalize with the sea pressure. You put your escape suit on. Everybody go inside. It's like a kind of like a dive chamber of a sort. But one of the audible communications that you'd wrap on the outside, from the inside, you'd wrap on the, tap. There's a hammer you tap on the hull to let everybody know, hey, everybody's left. And then they would, like I said, they'd close off the hatch and depressurize it. Everybody had already escaped, and like I said, you'd escape in batches of 6 or 12 sailors at a time, and like I said, repeat the process until everybody's left. That was one of the things. That was one of the audible communications. I guess in real life, since I never actually had to do any of that for real in the Navy, thank God. In real life, I've had to use, I guess, audible communication by, trying to figure out, trying to diagnose what's wrong with my pickup truck. Like I said, I've got an old pickup truck that's older than me, but one time I had the speedometer and cruise control both quit working all at the same time because there was like a wire that went to some kind of a sensor on the back drive axle that fed the readings of the speed of the truck. So I basically had to not just gauge my speed on how fast I was going based on the traffic around me, but literally by the pitch and the tone that the engine was making, because I could memorize the pitch and tone that the engine made at roughly about 70-75 miles an hour. So that way I knew I wasn't going too fast. As long, like I said, as crazy as that sounds, I got to that point. But I was also able to diagnose, hey, something sounds wrong, something sounds off, like when I had a set of bearings going out on the air conditioner motor, and I had to just go ahead and delete the air conditioner motor out of the truck because it's got a single serpentine belt that feeds the whole system that, links, power everything, the links the flywheel to, the alternator, the fan, that's the one thing that sucks about serpentine belts. You lose the serpentine belt, you lose everything, your tensioner. But yeah, like I said, I guess those are some examples that I have from personal experience and from military training.
Yeah, it's useful. Specifically, like just having that muscle memory and having that knowledge can definitely, like assist in a lot of ways. A lot of those skills are transitional.
Yes, they can be.
Yeah, it's something where like I can't even imagine some of the things that you've seen out there as well, and like there's probably a lot of stuff that you really would, that you likely won't divulge on a live stream, and I completely dive into kind of thing. No
I am
pun
going
intended.
to divulge this much, okay? My military career was nothing special. It was probably the most boring and most uneventful military career that anybody could ever ask for. And although I don't have any awesome stories I can tell or anything cool or anything like that, I guess I can say I'm thankful that I'm alive because, kind of an uneventful day at watch is a good day at watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good to be alive.
Yeah.
Well, I think that your interest in it and your willingness to to at least be involved in the protection of your country, I think, is commendable. And I'm not saying that to blow smoke. I'm saying that because I legitimately believe that. And it's that whole, it goes into that whole thing where, the purest of evil is good men doing nothing. And I think that it's a good thing when people are willing to, to at least try to get involved, and that is commendable. Even if you said it was a slightly boring or slightly slow-paced career, for a short, even if it is short than that as well, it still is something where that is some experience compared to a person that never even got engaged in something like that didn't even really want to do that. And perhaps, I don't know where your future lies as well, but you never know when the need as well comes up again for you to get involved and invested into something when it comes to the protection of your country.
The possibility could come up, but
exactly.
I'm gonna assume I'm gonna get passed up if anything comes up. I mean, it'd have to be we have to be in a really bad situation if they're ever considering to, have me re-enlist in any sort of capacity. But the only reason why I illustrate that it was a long, boring career, not because I hated it or anything like that. I want people to know that I'm not some tactical douchebag, who pretends like, hey, I was a part of Navy team, SEAL Team 6, or, like, no, it wasn't. Like I said, I stared at bulkheads. I was on my hands and knees scrubbing deck plates. I was chipping and painting the hull in a ship. That was, and maintaining maintaining the ship's weapons and maintaining ship's small arms firearms. That was it. Like that was the extent of my career outside of, a couple of injuries that I received, which got me out. But, like I said, nothing cool, nothing special. But I do appreciate, the recognition. But like I said, I think there were more guys out there that did way more than me that deserve a lot more credit.
Yeah, I think it's coming to a point where it's, for your country's sake and for the United States that, I won't be too sidetracked, Shadow. Sorry about that. But I'll just mention for a moment how much I still absolutely believe in that. Did you
get to learn Morse code, deals?
No, we never were taught Morse code. Like, not me. Like I said, now anybody that would have been maybe the nav ETs, maybe the sonar techs, and maybe the anybody in like radio and communication, they might have been taught Morse code. I was a torpedo man's mate. I wasn't taught any of that.
Right. You see on some boats, military boats, they use lights, sort of.
Yes. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'll tell you what, I would like to be in a submarine. And, don't make a sound. Everyone's listening out for stuff. A pin drops. Oh, depth charges.
Yeah.
Everyone, they know what they're doing. The captain of the submarine goes, oh, they drop it, let's drop down so many feet. Let's hide. I would not like to, either a tank or a submarine.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, okay, since we're
boat.
I do want to move the subject forward, but I am gonna talk a little bit more about submarines. Okay, so, there are such things called noise transients, and what that is at least in naval submarine terms, that means you accidentally drop something and it either it struck the deck or it struck part of the hull. And you got to report that to the sonar techs and report that to command and control. It's like, hey, I accidentally dropped something over here in the engine room, or I dropped something over here in auxiliary machinery space, or I dropped something in the torpedo room. You report that so that way they know, okay, there was a noise transient, and because like the ship's loaded with all kinds of acoustic instruments, to measure external sound, basically 360 degrees all the way around the ship, top and bottom, front and back, both flanks. So like I said, it was really crucial. And also, in the hypothetical case where we're playing games with the Chinese subs or the Russian subs, a game of cat and mouse, it's very crucial that you're quiet. And then the other thing too is like more denser bodies of salt water, that are more, there's more salinity to the salt water. The noise will actually transmit even further and much, much more louder, much more clear than in less salty bodies of water.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't either. One of the loudest noises in the ocean is one of these whales. They could do the clicks, and they're really loud. That sound, the way the sound travels through water is amazing. It's pretty, But I didn't know that about.
I was told. Yeah, whales make noise. Shrimp make noise. Like I said, I was told this by the sonar techs. Like shrimp, they actually sound like popcorn. Yeah. But anyhow, I'm just going to move the subject forward. We're not going to keep talking about submarines, Like I said, that's pretty much from my extent, my knowledge on all this subject. I'm really just a
well, it's relevant for the topic anyway.
Yeah,
so.
It is relevant. Yeah, sounds. What about when someone's ill? They make ill sounds. Is that relevant? Someone who's got a bad chest. Someone who's got a bad chest, and Their breathing is
I
bad.
suppose, yeah. Like if it sounds like an angry, like really raspy cough, I mean, who knows what they have? I mean, I don't know. That would be if we had like an actual like certified like nurse or nurse practitioner or doctor
Yeah,
practicing like general practitioner. That would be a question for them.
I was about to say that as well. Doctors, like Shadow said, like mechanics can listen out for stuff. Doctors tend to they like to listen out for stuff. They get their, what's it called, a stethoscope,
Yeah,
Yeah.
stethoscope.
and they want to hear your heart, your breathing. Yeah, right. You need a full service, Shadow.
Yeah.
Only kidding, but it's doctors, mechanics. Who else listens out for
Hunters.
hunters, military? They tend to
Yeah.
use hand signals, hand signals. Listen out for stuff.
There's a tribe. I don't know what the tribe's name is, but there is a tribe out there that uses whistles as their language. And you could just give a quick Google and it'll show you more.
Yeah,
But
yeah. The Greeks,
there's actually. Go ahead.
the Greeks also used in certain villages in Greece. They developed a whistling language, so people from mountains to mountains can whistle to each other. So I never knew about the
Yes.
tribe you just spoke about. I thought these Greeks were the only ones that did it. But
No,
yeah, tribe.
Yes, somewhere in the Asias, there's definitely like a specific tribe that is all about that.
Wow, I'm going to definitely look into that.
Yeah, their entire language, and it's actually a dying out language as well. But it used to be a lot more. There used to be a lot more members of their group, and the group has gotten a lot smaller over time. But it is also because they're in mountainous regions.
Right, interesting. People also tap vegetables. I don't know what that means. Like when people tap watermelons.
Yeah, they'll thump them. They'll thump watermelons. They thump cantaloupes to make sure they don't. They sound the thump doesn't sound kind of hollow because then that sound that's tattletale sign that it might be starting to
sweet.
spoil in the center.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not sure about the sweetness. I couldn't tell you on that. I just know like you thump it, make sure you got like a crisp sounding thump because if it sounds kind of. Oh, and I guess that was the other thing too. Like, I'm still a truck driver. I'm just not employed at the moment, but I would actually use a rubber mallet to thump the dual tires in the back because you got your single tires on the front. Those are your single steers, but in the back you got dual tires on the drive axles and dual tires on the trailer. I'd thump the tires to see which one sounds low. If I don't have a crisp thump on the tire, that means I've got either a flat tire or a tire that's very low air pressure. 9 times out of 10, that actually works.
Do you reckon that we've lost some of that capability, Shadow? Some of the.
Yeah, we have. But you can train so you can get better at it. But it will take a lot of practice.
Yeah, well, listening out for sounds is important these days,
And Diggs says you can use the sounds of the birds in the direction they are flying to almost pinpoint where someone is at. And I agree with that. You can do the same thing with a human. Humans too. So you can pinpoint a human by their footsteps. Direction, how they move, if they move fast, if they move in normal pace or slow. So you can learn and train yourself if they have what kind of boots they have. So if they have hiking shoes or hiking boots or
Right.
things, but that takes a lot of practice and training. So,
Yeah.
but it's
so
possible.
It's also functionally important, like where you're also speaking about the whole, like being able to check in on the tires, and then you guys were speaking about earlier when it came to like just the mechanics side of things, that you get mechanics that absolutely can hear like an engine when there's like that they know their whole trade and their careers so like entrenched within the like within wrenching and being a good mechanic that basically they just hear the car. That can tell you like immediately what the problem is. And then like with the home defense thing as well, I think that's something where like you definitely are capable of just having like a good warning system, just through audio. Like if your home is secure enough, you will definitely hear a person like breaking in. If there are ways to circumvent that though, for sounds, so people are able, and there's a device that one of my friends has, and what it does is it plugs itself onto a window or onto a pane of glass, and it has a very, very thin diamond cut at the end of it, and you can plug it onto the glass and you can basically do a full rotation, and then you can just take that piece of glass out directly clean, and it's still stuck to the suction piece that's in the middle. So like a glass cutter that you can use for entering places, or that you've actually got to be cautious about people being able to do that. Now, when you have scenarios like that and people using devices such as that, the best way to kind of get around that is that if you've got strong enough burglar bars, if you've got strong enough security gates, and then very like solid doors with at least 2 to 3 locks on as well on each door, then what happens is if you've got a small dog in combination with that, as soon as they start tampering with it, like using tools to unscrew things, and that small dog will definitely alert you, and that's kind of the best way through audio.
Yeah, I agree totally. And you can hear if someone tries to break into your neighbor's house or something, you can, or your own house. You can, if you listen carefully, you can basically hear if you hear footsteps, you can hear if they try to move slow to make less noise, but you can learn to hear if they put their feet down in a certain way.
Yeah,
you can
someone running up the stairway.
You can also train to walk quietly though. Like you can also train like for yourself personally, methods of walking. Yeah, where you walk on the outsides of your feet as well, with your like heel slowly down first. There's that, and what's interesting as well to break that is those is what ninjas would do. Like back, if you look at like through, and I'm speaking about actual ninjas, throughout medieval times, and they used specific ways where they actually trained consistently to walk in ways and to use the capability to not be heard at all. Like they got so good at being able to do that, and that's not even in storybooks and like movies. I'm speaking about actual ninjas, and like ninjutsu.
The way they're able to sort of place the heel down slowly, and there's a kind of there's a way to walk through forests as well, where you can minimize your prints.
It's also the type of shoes. Shoes make a big difference. Like shoes make a huge difference in like the amount of sound that you have. Like which is why socks are really good if you're just trying to be like super quiet. Socks are much better.
Socks.
Yeah, and different shoes gives away a certain sound.
Is this bordering on quantum physics at all, or is that Like people being able to discernment. I'm trying to ask whether discernment, like we're listening out, like mechanics can listen out for something, doctors can listen out. People they're talking about frequencies, quantum physics, poltergeist. Some of people that are psychic. I don't know. I mean, I don't believe in all that sort of stuff, but you know, there's a lot of people out there that do.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, out of all the cryptoids and anything like tinfoil hatty, like I definitely that's the thing that I believe the least in is like ghosts and that type of thing as well. I'm not a big believer of ghosts and that type of thing, but there have been situations where dogs will where there's recorded footage of where dogs will look in a specific area and just like go completely frantic. Like, so when dogs can pick up, you know, Grumpy Adventures over here as well mentions that animals are excellent in alerting humans to movement and danger before we can detect it. And that's where I was mentioning as well, like that's such a good point there. And that's where the combination of having, and specifically some of your smaller dogs, you'll be surprised how like some of those smaller dogs are so much more alert, and like a bigger dog will sometimes hear it and just be like, okay. And like a smaller dog, like dogs that are like, you know, your smaller little Jack Russells or Terriers or Yorkies, those type of dogs, when they hear something quickly, they'll be very much alert the rest of it. And that's when like your big dog will start like, you know, making a bigger impact. And then the big dog's also just like a warning system for audio. The whole idea as well is when it comes to that is that your dog isn't your first line of defense. You know, your dog can perhaps assist you as well alongside you, but not the first line of defense. Then you're really not protecting much, if you're going to believe that, like, because a dog can assist a human so much more and obviously within policing as well, and within militaries they use dogs tactically to take down, which is really cool, take down dogs. But for the most part, if you have like a dog that's at home, like it's not trained in that manner, so to work alongside your canine as well is much smarter. Oh, look at that. So Mad Chick said I had spirits in my house, not a fun experience. And if we're speaking about audios, I think that there is some interest in that. So look at that. You see Diggs was mentioning there specifically about the mystic arts of ninja. And that's like people forget, and people like, obviously because ninjas in Hollywood have been kind of, you know, they've made like such a big mark in a certain way, but they definitely water them down because they make them almost into a fantasy. They take the reality away from it. But absolutely, like martial arts through that way and ninjutsu was 100% thing. I'll look into that book. Thank you for the recommendation. I'll absolutely read that. At the end of this month as well, I'll put a little bit of I'll see if I can find it online for relatively cheap, and then I'll just I'll get the book, or I'll download one of them as well.
Mad Chick, I just wanted to ask you, you just put down there, I had spirits in my house, not a fun experience. And Shadow put there, no, it's not fun at all. I just wanted to ask you, how did you get rid of those spirits? What did you do? Did you call in the name of Jesus? Did you bring a priest round? Did they just stop?
Do you really like? Do you legit? Because you're a very sensible guy, Chef Tech. So I don't know. Like, do you legit like believe 100%, 100-fold that in your personal experience that you would absolutely like that you experienced that? Because I'm always super curious, and I'm somebody that is, even though myself personally I'm skeptical, I do always find it very intriguing when people have been through experiences like that, and you don't come across as a liar at all in a little bit. So for you to say, hey, I had some spirits, that's quite something.
Chef Tech's not on.
Magic, sorry.
Magic, right? So I was once in my house and in my front room, and there was nothing in the passage hallway. It was dark. There was no lights on. The only light was on. It was the front room, and I was studying my Bible in my front room, and and then when I looked to my left, I saw this shadow figure right there. It was right there. I saw it, and the initial thing was I sensed a tremendous amount of fear. But I stood up and I went, in the name of Jesus, get out. And it just went, boom, it was gone. Just like that. And I saw it. What I saw, I can't explain fully, but I just saw it was like a black silhouette
So there's no way. So Vanessa, Kitty,
Right,
I don't
know.
want to get too far off
You'll find.
topic, but no,
Go for it,
like
bro.
you said,
Well, I mean,
I know some of you don't believe.
Being able to sense stuff as well is part of it as well. I mean, like you're saying about dogs being able to sense stuff. Surely there's humans that can, sense. Surely we can. We do have gut feel. A lot of times we have gut feelings. A lot of times we think, oh, there's someone's looking at me, or
I love that conversation, and I do want to continue with the real love in there in a moment. But I just wanted to as well here. I think that Dios was also onto something, because I can absolutely go back there, because I do have more to add on that, and I actually want to hear more about that story from your side, real love. I just wanted to hear Dios say quickly for a moment.
Sorry, hang on. Yeah, no, I was saying.
Yeah, no problem.
I had some supernatural experiences when I was a kid, growing up, like happened to me 3 separate occasions. So yeah, no, the supernatural unexplained realm, it does exist. Like, I don't want to go off too far on that tangent, but like, I'd seen ghostly apparitions of a cat. I know stuff sounds crazy. I know we can all laugh about this and stuff like that, but I seen, like a thick fog, like rolling through our kitchen when I was a kid. And, there's no reason for a thick fog of any kind, almost like a smoke rolling through the kitchen, at night. I also seen like an old station wagon driving, like a ghostly apparition of an old 1950s era station wagon driving across a road, like faded in out of nowhere, and then it just dematerializes. It was driving past.
You see, stuff like that,
Guardian, we're not meaning to scare you or anything, Guardian.
Go for it, real love.
Sorry, brother. I just was throwing in a joke there. We don't mean to be scaring you.
No. I'm just saying, like, I understand some people say that they don't believe it, but it's just one of those things until you actually experience some crazy crap happen to you. Now, again, my stuff is very mild, because some people have seen like horrible stuff, nightmares, fuel stuff, stuff that you would see in the Paranormal Activities movies franchise. That none of my stuff was that extreme. It was just really minor stuff in the grand scheme of things.
Definitely, like super skeptical. I believe that. So, in order quickly, just to like jot them down for a moment, when it comes to this, right? Obviously, being hyper skeptical about most things, I do have more belief in the people when they do tell me like their experiences. Like, I believe, like even with Vanessa Kitty there as well. That's why I say somebody that every time that they'll say something, you can pick up when somebody is like a person that just fabricates things, or if somebody is speaking about actual things. And Vanessa Kitty's like through and through over the years always being extremely like logical and practical. Like that's why I'm saying when it comes down to people, and the people on the panel as well, when it comes to you guys and speaking about like the experiences that you've had, I don't doubt that for a second. I mean, it's 2025. This is an insane world that we live in, right? For us to say that something definitely exists or doesn't exist is extremely naive of us. So I'm always very, very open to the experiences that people have had. I've never had any experience like that I can't explain when it comes to spiritual things or ghosts or anything. So I've never, if I see it one day maybe, perhaps, but yeah, for myself. So that's what I'm saying. And it does kind of go along with this topic as well, because there might be something that we can't always explain, not just in an audio way, but frequencies that are out there as well. It's interesting.
Spiritually as well, counseling, certain people that, like we're talking about people that have got experience of certain subjects, like a mechanic will have experience of listening, a doctor will have experience as well of listening and seeing about diagnosis and what have you. You have other types of, there must be other types of things where people listen. And yes, of course, the paranormal, spiritual is relevant as well. you said about dogs picking up on stuff. You even hear stories about children. I don't know if any of you guys know about children having that similar ability as well. A lot of children have imaginary friends.
I've had my cats. I was
You
going to say
said
I've had
stuff
my
about
cats
your
pick up on
childhood
stuff long
yesterday.
before I have.
Cats as well.
Yeah, cats. I've had my cats pick up on things before I did.
Well, yeah, body
That's just
language.
their acute sight and cute, ability to pick up sound.
It's a guarantee that there's a lot that they pick up that we don't. It's documented as well, and it's just scientific fact that they have the capability to hear and see and smell much, much more superior to us as well when it comes to dogs and their sense of smell and their sense of hearing, and cats as well. Like, cats are always surprising me.
Yeah, cats are gangsters.
Yeah, they're weird. Cats can be awfully strange sometimes. They definitely can be quite an experience. And then, so that's the whole thing as well. Like, if you have the ability to be as quiet as a cat,
I have 2 cats myself.
So those elephants that knew about the tsunami and they ran to the mountains, did they get the vibration? Did they get the sound? What?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So elephants have the ability to hear through their feet. So they can actually, obviously being South African, there's like a bunch of elephants that aren't even that far from me here. There's a whole giant herd actually.
Wow.
Because
and you can see them sometimes. Wow.
Well, it takes me 20 minutes.
Wow.
It takes me about 20 minutes to ride from where I am to an area. I mean, I don't really hide where I am. If anybody watches any of my content, they can place together very quickly through the types of content that I make. There's always signboards everywhere. I mean, really, like I document my city in some ways too. So I will say that one of the elephant parks, national park as well, with extremely high security, is actually really close to me here. So, like, giant herds of elephants and like an actual elephant conservation area.
So they hear through their feet, you were saying?
Yeah, they absolutely do. They've got the capability to hear sounds as well and frequencies and things that are happening around them just through the vibrations of their feet.
So if we ever see elephants running towards the mountains, we should just chase after them. And yeah.
Exactly.
You should probably go in the same direction as they do.
Yeah.
Because the elephants know things that you don't.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because someone was saying how all the animals, escaped. A lot of the animals escaped the area where the tsunami hit well in advance. Obviously, the birds, any animals that are in the trees, monkeys or whatever, they're all sort of panicking, screaming out, alarm, alarm. So yeah, it's amazing. And us humans, we've lost that ability to sort of know what's really going on in nature. It's like we're sort of, especially now with the internet and stuff like that. Although the internet is great in some ways, when you lose that ability to sort of know the basic. I mean, maybe for the animals, they're like, look at those humans. Look, they don't even know the basics of survival. And they think they know it all, but we don't know. We've lost that real ability to maybe listen, maybe the vibrations, like you're just saying about the elephants are feeling the vibration, but we can do, I suppose, we can feel the vibes. When you hear people say the vibes wasn't great, I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, you're picking in subtle things that human beings have used to be able to survive in a lot of the time in social settings as well, to trust people or to pick up on like slow little things that your conscious mind can't see, but your subconscious does. And then when it comes to like the way that sounds work like that as well, it's just interesting that if a person loses eyesight, like if a person goes blind or if a person loses their sense of hearing, their other senses obviously start to increase. Their other senses start to play more of a role in their day-to-day. So they begin like almost sharpening and honing in on them, such as audio. If a blind person, like if you test the hearing of a blind person compared to a non-blind person, the majority of the time a blind person has much better and much more acute hearing.
Yeah, they have. They can, a blind person can pinpoint exactly who is moving in a room, and let's say if there is 10 people in a room, they can pinpoint exactly which person moves in a certain direction. So because of their hearing is so good.
You can look there in chat as well. A comment was made there as well about hairs standing back on the hairs in the back of your neck standing up. Like that's an actual thing where, like, you definitely, intuition plays an important role, and that's not as much sound as it is something different, right? There's a different sense, and that you get sometimes, and you're like, damn, I should have listened to it, you know. Like,
Yeah.
And then as you get older, you really just learn to like just kind of, pay attention to those things.
Dig says, when one sense is eliminated in a person, the others compensate to make up for it. Yeah.
Yeah, you ever notice that feeling when you're in a forest and it's pitch black, all of a sudden your hearing becomes 100 times better? It's every little sound
Hey, Bushcraft family, good to see you.
it's like highlighted. Your visuals go in a pitch black.
The auditory is what the hell you call it? Damn it! I had the word and I forgot. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, come back.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, Bushcraft family. I've been like familiar with Bushcraft for, I think, like maybe onwards of 6 years now, something like that on YouTube. Like, it's good. It's so good to see you, man. We should definitely catch up sometime if you wanted to, or something like that. You're one of those people that, like, every now and again I'll just like see you on a live, and I'll see you here and there. And we've never really like, been. I don't think we've really ever had a live together or something like that. So maybe you could pop on. I'll do like a live stream at some point with you if you're interested in joining on a panel of mine. But yeah, it'd be good to catch up with you again, Bushcraft family. Lovely to see that you're still around. It's awesome to see, regular faces and people that you have been acquainted with for quite some time.
It reminds me of one of your videos, Guardian, where you've just been doing a bit of training and you was talking and you said, remembering that family is the most important thing.
It really is, yeah. And sometimes family isn't always blood. Sometimes, like, your friends that you like know close, like, I don't know, it's strange how it works like this, but you definitely start to like make close connections with people, even if it is online. And I know that there's a lot like that we have separate lives from what we do online and that as well, but it's just interesting.
Well, that's what it's really about. Family, community. Good. You've got good families. You've got good communities. If you've got good communities, you've got good nations, and if you've got good nations, you've got happy world. But yeah.
What's your feelings on plants? If we speak about the audio sides to things as well, in the same vein, like, what's your whole feeling on like the fact that plants listen to us? That like plants, they've tested plant growth rates, and plants that are listening to more like relaxed music. There's actually certain places where they do farming, and they actually have loudspeakers on throughout the fields, and they actually play music. You can check it up as well. Double check online and do a bit of a rabbit hole deep search if you want and find out what I'm talking about. But they actually use audio to grow certain crops in areas.
That's very interesting. maybe that.
Yeah,
Maybe
look it
that.
up.
Yeah.
Look up loudspeakers. Look up loudspeakers and music playing in crop fields, or
Yeah, I'm
something along
familiar
those
with
lines.
those.
Yeah, and also just like the plant. I don't know. They get. It's interesting. I just wanted to read this comment here quickly. Yeah, grey man thing isn't an option with SHTF. You need community to survive. Very, very good point, Lee. I'm always
Yeah,
speaking
it's a
about
good
community.
point.
Community is absolutely everything. And it's good to hear the sounds of familiar voices as well, you know, and hear people that you actually care about. Community is the most important thing in everything that we speak about. So it's vital.
Mark says plants react to frequency.
Yes. Yeah, that would make a world of sense.
Sunflowers will always look towards the sun.
Yeah, creative redundancy loves sunflowers. He's definitely
Yeah,
grown a good amount
yes,
of them over
big
the
one
years.
too.
I will catch up with you guys a little bit later. I'm just going to spend a bit of time with the missus, and if you guys are still on in a little bit, I'll join again. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
good to
no
it's good to
problem.
hear from you guys. I drop a bit of a CR pun there, but it's good
Hey,
to catch up with you guys
good to
and
catch
chat.
up with you too, Guardian.
All right. See you in a bit, Guardian.
Look after yourselves, guys. Cheers for now. Bye,
Cheers.
chat.
All right.
In a few minutes, I'm going to be bailing, but I'm going to be joining right back. It's just because I'm going to be switching over from the cell phone over to my laptop.
Roger that.
Grumpy says, would you guys say that heightened sensors is part of our DNA from old, the caveman hunter gathering?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Yeah, I was going
say
to say, yeah.
Oh yeah. Maybe
but
because
we the modern humans, we have lost some of that because we are
maybe they've just been
not.
redirected. We've got redirected senses. We have to
Yeah,
redirect our senses.
I agree that we've probably lost some of it, but I also think that push came to shove, we can get those senses back.
Well, yeah.
yeah,
If you had it after maybe after a second generation. I mean,
I wouldn't even say second generation. I'm
well, I mean,
saying us.
yeah, but if
Us.
yes.
No future involved, like us, just us. No generation to replace us. It'd be just us. We could get it back, and the generations that follow might be more in tune, because obviously they're going to know a different way of life than what we're used to, because what we experience right now is so artificial and so alien.
I think we've been
We take it for granted.
people been too pampered.
Yeah.
They've never had to. You still got children today going to walk-ins miles just to get water. We've never had to do that. You still got people going out to maybe hunt and gather. We've never had to do that. I mean, hunting and gathering in for people in some countries going to the supermarket.
Hey, Mike. Okay, no problem. Yeah, Dave.
Like
I don't think we lost the ability. It just buried under society's crap. Well, I think that skill is, basically dormant.
Yeah.
We haven't lost it, but we need to. The modern human need to practice to get it up to the level as it was on the Stone Age, Iron Age, and things like that. So, and so on. So that will take a lot of practice.
Oops, I
But-
just got it.
I was just imagining Vanessa hunting garlic in the supermarket or in the local store. I want that. I want that piece of garlic over there. Someone's near it. Someone's close.
I agree, Vanessa. Vanessa says, I hunt and gather. You use those skills even around other humans, especially trouble. Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. Dave O says, true, Shadow. After a couple of weeks in the wilderness, we start waking up again. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we're waking up to how much we're going to be suffering because of. No, not really. I was just,
Vanessa says, okay, a black bear decided to eat someone's chickens in front of the humans near in this town. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't sound fun. You would think from their reactions and what they were saying that no bears exist. Lol. Yeah. I call them clueless fodder. Okay. Okay, Vanessa. But I agree. Actually, if you're in the wilderness for a couple of weeks, you will definitely pick those senses up again, because you, first of all, you don't have any traffic, you don't have any other city sounds that mess things up either. So when you are out in the wilderness, you have the peace and quiet, and you have the birds.
Yeah, you don't have the background noise, the artificial man-made background noises drown things out. That's what you're trying to say, right?
And that makes the modern human, that is why that skill is dormant.
Yeah, it's because we're used to listening to the white noise playing in the background, the artificial white noise, whether it be the electricity flowing through the utility lines, whether it be the traffic out in the distance on the highways, whether it be machinery or whether it be home appliances like the refrigerator turning on or the home heating and cooling, central air turning on.
Yeah. There'll be no light pollution as well in the wilderness, so you'll be able to you'll be able to see the stars more.
That was one thing that stood out to me a lot when I was driving trucks at night, especially in the Western United States, because Western United States is very rural, like very unpopulated. The population density is very low, and like I said, there are like stars and galaxies and constellations that come in very clear. Oh,
hey, Chef.
Had to do some my Saturday morning shopping routine, so I'm always a little.
I was doing the same thing. I guess great minds think alike.
And I got 80 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breasts coming for $1.06 a pound.
Lovely.
Damn.
So I'm good there. 40 of it's for a friend of mine, the other 40's for me, and probably half of that for the dog because he's on a strict diet of pretty much just chicken now. So it's good. It's cheaper than dog food, though.
No, that's a great price. Over here, it's about £2.19 for a kilo of chicken legs.
Yeah, that's bone in. I got boneless, skinless breasts.
Yeah,
I mean, they're frozen
nice.
because they get close to their sell by date from one of the big food companies out here. And I got a friend in a I got a friend in a restaurant. I just call him up. I'm like, what's on the list? He's like, oh, we got beef. Forget getting beef these days. It's just out of control. So I'm like, well, what do you got for chicken? He's like, oh, I got $1.09 or $1.19. I'm like, who makes it? He's like, same company. I'm like, the hell? He's like, yeah, different packaging. I'm like, great, give me the $1.09 one. I really don't care. It's mostly for the dog. But good stuff. So I'll wait till yeah. Geez, Guardian gets back. Because I wanted to get on there and talk about all my experiences. I know I've talked about it before on like Bob's channel and Dior's and that with the spirits and stuff like that going on in my house. It was a mess. But scratches and things and just bad shit happening all the time. But we're talking about the acoustic signatures and all that. I know when I was little, I don't know if anybody mentioned it. When I was little, my dad we'd walk out near the railroad tracks out in the middle of nowhere, no train traffic. He's like, if you put your ear on the rail, you can hear a train coming. I was like, oh, okay. And I did. And I was like, I hear like thud, 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 thud. He's like, those are cars going over the crossing about 2 miles away. I was like, wow, you can hear stuff through the rails, especially now because all the railroad rails are welded one piece. They're not like bolted together, but now you get even better clarity. So you can hear a train coming freaking, 30 kilometers away or 20 miles or whatever the math is on that one. Now you can hear them coming. It's not very loud, but you can hear the just the vibration in the rail when you put your ear to it.
Yeah.
When you say scratches, did you mean like physical scratch marks on wood?
All right, so I'll go over it quick. I'll go over it again later when TV gets back. But so no, like my daughter would be in the shower. And she'd come out of the shower and dry off. She'd come downstairs like that. Could you look at my back? I'm like, sure. I look at her back, 4 welts running down her back. And you could tell it was from fingernails because the one welt was a little further. It started earlier, so to speak, like the middle finger's a little longer. And right across her back. I would get them on my thighs, my calves. In the middle of the night, I'd wake up with this burning sensation. I'm like, what the hell is that? Thought a bug or something got in bed. I go in the bathroom, turn the light on, look. No, I got scratches right there across the top of my foot, and not from my own toenails, but just scratches everywhere. And we had a woman, I guess she was a medium or whatever, come in the house because we had all kinds of crap going on. And she went in my one daughter's room. My daughter had a longboard skateboard leaning up against the wall in the far corner that she used from time to time. And this woman's like, she's just going room to room.
I remember the story.
Yeah, and she literally walked into my daughter's room. She opened the door. She stepped like 2 feet inside with the door open, looked at I wasn't home, looked at my wife and my other daughter and said, I need to close the door. I'm going to be a minute. As soon as she was closing the door, the skateboard came flying across the room and put a hole in the wall. And she was nowhere near it. I had to patch the sheetrock because of that. And and then she was in there like stern talking and all that. She came out of the room, shut the door. She's like, this one's not going anywhere. And I was like, okay. Unfortunately, my one daughter was in college and she really never came back home again, but she never liked her room anyway. It was always cold and just really weird. And we had every night when we first moved in at like 10 o'clock at night or 11, depending on, I guess, the time, the clocks, I would hear footsteps going up my stairs to the upstairs. Meanwhile, everybody was already upstairs in bed. I'm down watching TV and I'd hear them like all 13 steps all the way up to the top and then stop. And then occasionally I'd hear a door close. And it turns out the woman that lived here before us, she died suddenly at school and a brain aneurysm or something. I'm not going to say her names. I ain't bringing her back again. But she was really controlling over her kids, and her kids were in the 2 end rooms. And she would go up every night like clockwork and walk down the hall and check both rooms and shut the door, open the door and look in. And my daughters used to say, oh, their door would just open for no reason at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And then close again. And yeah, that used to freak me out. And but we got this woman in here and she talked and did whatever she did. And I'd say about 90% of our issues disappeared after that. We just don't talk about it in the house anymore because you don't want to bring them back, I guess. So she gave us names and things like that. I'm Like, yep, nope, never say it. She's like, don't ever say that name in this house. I'm like, okay, never will. You got it.
There is frequencies and kind of machines that they use. I don't know what they're called, but certain people that are into the paranormal, they use certain type of.
Oh, I've seen those on TV and all that. Yeah, where they think you can
pick up voices.
Yeah, you're talking about EMF.
Yeah,
with
ghost hunters used to use it. They put it in a
electromagnetic
room and
detectors.
it would start talking and all that. It's like, okay, sure. What I get it, maybe. I don't know. That I have an issue with. That's more TV bullshit. But anyway. On TV, they make everything look good so they can get likes and views and ad space and commercials and stuff like that. So I take that with a grain of salt. I take anything on TV and movies with a grain of salt because, yeah. But so what I was listening to most of it driving, but I couldn't hear everything. What I miss? Anything good?
We talked a little bit about mechanic stuff, like using noises to detect if something is about ready to go out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then I related some of my naval experience on submarines, talking about noise transients.
I heard that. Yeah, and I know, and I use the same thing. I had I did noise vibration harshness when I was working at the Ford dealership. I had this box with 8. They were just giant alligator clips, but they were sound sensitive alligator clips. And if customer heard a noise somewhere and I couldn't pinpoint it driving, I would clip these things on different suspension components and all over under the carriage of the vehicle. And as I'm driving along, I would change my channel and be able to, okay, which one's louder, sort of like I guess they use on submarines for the non-acoustic sounds they can hear. They can zero in on it. And I would pull over and move some of my microphones around until I could get it louder. I'm like, okay, I pretty much found the noise. It's a link or it's an exhaust rattle or something like that. And but yeah, it was all their microphones. You couldn't talk to it, but it would transmit the sound of the metal that it was clipped to or plastic and into my headphones. So I'm driving around with headphones on, changing channels all the time. And just remember where I was, little labels. Okay, this is on the link. This is on the arm. This is here, there. Engine noises. My dad taught me back in the day, you have an engine knock, take a 2x4 and just push it against the each cylinder, where the spark plug is, push it against the block in each place and put your ear to it. And whichever one's the loudest, that you found your problem, whether it's a valve or something like that. I mean, there's just sound is amazing.
It is, yeah. It is. True.
I was talking about how, like,
that's all right.
Sorry.
Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just letting Chef know. Like, I was telling him how sound transmits better, much more louder, and much further in like more water bodies of water with higher concentration of salt. More salinity transmits sound better.
Yeah, I think there's some density issues going on there. That's why, like, it's more the molecules are closer together or something like that. Probably cold water, too, probably transmits better than warm water.
Yeah, well, like I said, that was one of the things that they did on the submarine. They would try to navigate into bodies of water with less salt concentration if they could, so the noises didn't transmit as easily.
Yeah, I think I heard you talking about that earlier too, on and off over the road noise. Road noise. But I can hear, just being the Ford thing, we used to call it the 3 phases of a universal joint going bad in your truck or car. The first phase is a squeak. The second phase is a silence and a little bit of a vibration. The third phase is the pole vault you do in the vehicle when the juice completely falls out and plants itself in the concrete and shoots the back of your car up 3 feet in the air. Yeah, and rips the rear axle out. It depends on which side falls out, or it falls out of the back and you just lose your drive shaft on the side of the road spinning at 30,000 RPMs. But yeah, I hear things coming. And I know certain vehicles have different starter noises. You know, when they start up, I can tell a Dodge, Ford, Chevy. I can tell all the differences on it. When somebody starts a car, I'm like, yeah, that's a 3-liter Ford because they have their own sound. That's a 5.0 Ford. You know, all the older ones. The new ones, yeah, you can't tell. They all sound.
I was gonna say I can tell an older Detroit diesel series, commercial truck engine over pretty much the others because it got a very distinct, like loud noise to them. Like I'm talking like the old 60 series,
Yep.
the 8V92s, the 8V71s. Now I won't be able to differentiate. Hey, is this a 60 series? All I can say is like it sounds like a Detroit because it's just got a really loud signature.
So, has anyone ever had that experience? You just reminded me of a film, Chef Tech, of a film called Black Hawk Down, where he's asking when do we shoot? How do we know when to shoot back? And one soldier's describing the different types of shots. I don't know about this stuff because we don't have experience with guns here. But do any of you guys know anything about that?
They wasn't really far off, as far as the description. Now it's been a while since I've seen Black Hawk Down, but I know exactly what he's talking about. Kind of like a zoom and sound. Like I said, that's the bullet flying past you. Like it really does make an audible noise. And if you're hearing that, you actually are in danger. You might not be getting directly shot at, but you are in downrange when you shouldn't be downrange.
Yeah, you can hear the further away it is, the longer it takes for you hear you see a puff in the sand dune next to you,
right?
But you don't hear the sound for like 3-4 seconds. That was probably a long distance shot. But if you hear the bullet whiz by or see it hit something or hear it hit something, you hear that crack of the report out of the rifle within like a half a second, yeah, you're pretty freaking close. You might want to get out of there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and depending on the conditions.
Sorry,
I was gonna say, depending on the conditions, you might be able to see a contrail coming off the bullet as well.
Yep.
Wow, I think he said in the film it was a zoom and a ping.
Yeah,
I think the zoom was the bullet flying past, and the ping was like the description you said, the puff of smoke in the.
Yeah, it's where it hits something. Yeah, it hits something. And then you hear the crack of the bullet leaving the barrel.
Because the bullet's traveling faster.
Yep.
Yeah, it's traveling faster than the speed of sound in most cases.
So he heard the ping and he went, "Now they're shooting at us." So then he starts shooting back.
Yeah. So you're gonna hear the zoom before you hear the crack of the rifle report.
Well, I mean, these different sounds. I mean, some people, in some cases, it could be the difference between life and death. I mean, what about that situation, Shadow? I mean, you're saying people that can identify sounds. Where is that? How does that apply in a situation in a life and death situation where someone could have heard something or seen something sooner or detected something sooner?
That question for Shadow?
Anybody, yeah.
All right, re-ask the question again.
Re-ask the question.
Something about sounds. I don't know. You came up with some question. I couldn't really follow along either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll leave that one then.
You were talking earlier about like the elephants running up the hill. I heard that when I was driving when the tsunami came. Yeah, just like an earthquake on the West Coast or wherever. Right. Usually anywhere from 30 seconds to a few minutes before an earthquake is gonna hit. All the animals go quiet, including crickets, frogs, you name it. All of a sudden, it's like there's just quiet. And then usually a few seconds before the earthquake actually starts shaking stuff, birds just start launching into the atmosphere. They're just getting up in the air. Animals freak out. Dogs start barking and freaking out. Cats are going crazy in the house for no reason. So, yeah, stuff to keep watch on if you're in an earthquake zone like Bob is out in Washington State.
Yeah.
And Yeah, if there's an earthquake coming and you have an animal in the house and it just starts acting really weird all of a sudden, you might want to pay attention to what's about to happen. It might not be big, but it might be. So animals are very, very sensitive.
Yeah, and volcanoes gives some form of vibrations as well, and there's some sound as well.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, this is me leaving.
So those who lives nearby a volcano knows if that would erupt. Because of the vibrations and the sound.
I know, like, but I don't know, like, so it could be like a sixth sense type of thing. Like, I know, like, when storms are coming in, you know, I know, like, the birds typically they fly off. I'm talking about like summer storms. I'm talking like a severe thunderstorm rolling in, or a severe thunderstorm capable of producing tornadoes. The birds usually start flying off.
Sometimes you can smell rain.
Yeah. That is definitely an interesting thing. Smell rain before it's rain. For storms, the animals can literally feel the electricity in the air. Yeah.
Sharks can feel electricity underwater.
I'm sure they could, because it's a body of salt water. Even fresh water can conduct electricity due to the impurities. But that all, like I said, that all depends on the voltage, the amount of voltage applied. Because if there isn't enough impurities in the water to conduct the electricity, there could be just enough resistance that the electricity might not conduct. But I'm gonna say in most cases it will conduct, especially salt water.
That's why when you're on the beach swimming in the water and there's a lightning storm nearby, they tell everybody get out of the water. You will get shocked in the salt water, or even in fresh water if lightning hits nearby.
Yeah.
Wow.
Close enough, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. When I was young, I was in Greece, and it used to rain, and my cousin said, "Yeah, let's go swimming." And now you just said well, you can get electrocuted.
Yeah.
Well, if lightning strikes the water, yeah.
Wow.
But all right,
real quick.
I'm just gonna say with the electricity, okay. So imagine the electricity like ripples on a still water of a surface of a pond when you like throw a rock. The electricity, they're like the ripples on the pond, where they're in magnetic fields. So the stronger you are, the closer you are to the epicenter of the electric source, the greater the electric shock is going to be, and the more likelihood you're going to die, at least in the case of a lightning strike, or say like a high voltage line, utility line comes down and, makes contact with water, or, or in cases where the conditions are just right. There's just the right amount of humidity in the air, and there's enough of an eddy current coming off the utility line that's, say, over a body of water. The electricity could jump through the air into that body of water. Well, like I said, imagine the electric current being like the ripples on a pond. The closer you are at the epicenter of that ripple, the closer you are to the center of that magnetic field, and the stronger the electric current's going to be, and the difference in polarity between the different potentials on the different fields. If that makes any sense, like I said, it's really hard for me to explain this. I know Steph grasps this. I'm just saying.
We
if
got high
anybody
power
else-
lines running everywhere where I'm at.
Yeah.
And on a very humid day, and it would happen all the time when I was driving around down in Virginia. I was sitting at a stoplight, I turned my radio down, and there's like, we're talking like, 400,000 volt lines running over. You could hear them just crackling because they were giving off like mini bolts of electricity into the humidity.
Yeah.
And that was only on really humid days. Dry days, you just kind of hear them humming. But oh no, that stuff, and they don't exactly insulate those wires up on those big poles either. They're wide open, raw. Yeah.
Yeah, they're open to the air. The air itself is the insulation.
Yeah. That's why they keep them far apart and have those long insulators hanging there from the poles so that it doesn't jump to the to ground. Everybody's wonders what those you get these we have a lot of electricity goes from like mountaintop to mountaintop with no pole in between. And yeah, they put those red balls on there and stuff it's for airplanes.
Yeah,
mostly.
helicopter balls.
But it also keeps them when the wind starts blowing. If they start cavitating, the wires won't touch each other. The balls will touch the other wire before the wire touches the wire, and you won't get a short, 600,000 volts of short circuit. Yeah, you're going to see some friggin' fireworks then.
Yeah, I was going to say, like I said, we're really getting way off topic.
Yeah.
Depending on the you're talking about those big transmission lines.
Yep.
Depending on the transmission lines, some of them, instead of them using like a single conductor for each of the phases, you'll see two current carrying conductors running side by side really close. Like from the ground, it looks like they're like a couple inches apart. Up in the air, they're probably like spaced out about a foot and a half. They've actually got like spacers that linemen actually have to be flown up into a helicopter. They have to attach themselves, and they have to replace all those clamps, those spacers, and
they're ceramic, so they don't conduct. Yeah.
Actually, no. These I think these are actually metallic because, like I said, these lines they are one for each. They're for one phase, So you got a pair.
Oh yeah, it's one of the legs. They have three instead of running one giant wire. They run two or three smaller ones.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And then they clamp them together with metal,
so they're not swaying around. They're not, in the wind and everything. Like I said, it just keeps them all kind of one. Like I said, that's what some utility. But again, we're getting way off topic. I don't know how much more we could say about this. I wish we could have more people come on the panel, but it's just us four.
What's his name? He was asking about. He was talking about plants and frequency and stuff too. Yeah, we're still off topic here.
Yeah, but, I completely forgot what I was trying to ask Shadow earlier on. I just got sidetracked by something, and I just completely forgot what I was going to ask Shadow earlier on. Yeah, we were talking about plants, vibrations.
Yeah, there's scientific studies that if you have like two identical plants, or 10 each of an identical seed come from the same plant, all that stuff. They keep all their scientific data, steady. And put 5 plants in one room, 5 in another room. You give them the same light, same water, same everything, but you go into one room and you talk nice to your plants and you talk to them. You go into the other one, you just start screaming at them as soon as you walk in a room. The ones in the room you're screaming at don't do well. They just vibration. They just don't do well. The ones you talk to, it's like, hey guys, how's it going? I talk to my plants all the time. So does the wife.
Wow. I think someone tried that with wheat. Believe it or not.
I know my cats are a lot more receptive when I talk to them nicely, not when I start screaming at them.
My wife's the same way. She responds nice when I'm nice and not so much when I scream.
Big says you can also learn a lot just by observing the trees. If you see a major scar on the one tree, look for scars on the other trees close by. If you find a bunch of them, see what direction they are facing. Yeah.
It probably has a lot to do with like lightning strikes and stuff like that.
Possibly wind damage too.
Yeah.
Yeah, wind damage.
I've been in areas where I'd seen trees that were like they're growing up, but then they get closer to the top and it's like twisted, like literally the entire trunk is bent in that direction, like it was growing. in that direction, and that was
I have a lot of those on my property. They're actually all crooked growing out of the ground. And then it looks like some of them like 20, 30 feet up. All of a sudden they're going straight up and down. It's like they all got blown a little sideways in a windstorm, 20, 30 years ago. And then they started going straight up again. So it's like some really crazy looking stuff in some parts of my property.
Dig
So going
says
back
if
to
they're
sound,
all
you can hear-
facing
you
to
can
a
hear
central
sound
point.
travel. It depends on where you're at. Like when I'm at my
Yeah.
property, I'm in a valley. I can hear things way off. And but when I'm up on top of the ridge, I can't hear shit because the sound is echoing off of it. From the bottom, it's echoing off the sides of the mountains and that, and going straight up, and you can barely hear it. But down in the valley, it just echoes everywhere. I can hear coyotes howling like 8-10 miles away, and there's traffic noise nearby too. But I can hear coyotes, neighbors' dogs barking, and they're like 3, 4, 5 miles away. I can hear him barking. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what's his name's dog way over there. I'm not worried about it. But they put the dog out at night. He just barks all night long. So I'm like, whatever. After a while, I just don't hear it. But sound travels different depending on the medium you're working with.
Yeah, well,
It's like,
like I said,
when it's snowing outside, you go outside, it's like dead silence. Why? The snow, it doesn't have any flat surface on it for sounds to echo off of, so it just absorbs the sound, which is how those sound deadening panels were designed in pure quiet rooms and stuff like that. There is zero echo points on it, just like the stealth bomber, and that with the paint, with the radar.
Yeah, that and the fact that the air during wintertime is typically more dry, so there's less humidity, so it's less dense, so it's less capable of transmitting sound.
Right. Well, the air is actually a little more dense because when it gets colder, that's why planes fly so well in cold weather, because the air molecules are closer together. They get a crisper response on the rudders and that, versus in the dead of summer when it's so hot and everything's all, the molecules are spread out. It's a little sluggish, but the humidity plays its own factor in that. High humidity. It depends on if it's pouring rain. Yeah, you're not going to hear much of anything because sounds bouncing off the raindrops. Humidity, it'll help transfer sound.
Yeah,
this is a big field, and the a lot of these aeroplanes as well have special paint on them as well.
Oh yeah, that's the paint has like little prisms on it, so it doesn't reflect the radar. It does, but not near as what it did. So a 747 paint job looks like a Cessna. Yeah,
because a lot of radiation is interfering with the planes, so they develop special paint as well that can. Yeah, is it the radiation that? Yeah,
no, it's not really. It's the radar, not radiation.
The radar.
Yeah, that's what the stealth bomber has. It has like zero footprint, so to speak, on radar.
Technically, a radar is a form of radiation. It is emitting an electromagnetic signature.
Yeah, it's a pulse. Yeah, it's just not in. Well, it depends on how close you are to the radar dish. You may not want to stand in front of it. You probably get cooked.
Well, like we're talking like negligible amounts of radiation. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
There was a very famous woman recently was caught in America. I can't remember her name, and she was caught, and she was working on a specific paint for aeroplanes, and it turned out that she was royalty or something like that, and she was discovered to be working. I can't remember her name.
Was she spying on it to try to get the formula?
Well, no, she's got the patent. She's got many.
Patent.
She's got many patents, that she's developed many different types of paint.
Oh, sure.
And her husband also works he develops radar systems or something like that. And it turned out that one of them was royalty, but it's a big subject, like radar, all these other things that we don't really want to talk about as well. So I don't want to go there.
Radar cross sections and stuff like that are huge for aerospace. And
this is something that would probably be up Bob's alley a little bit.
Yeah,
and PV would know a lot as well about that.
I only know it from like I said, only know it from an elementary standpoint, from the sonar side of it.
Yeah, they're all in the same family, so to speak. You have sounds that echo back. You have higher frequencies you can't hear, like radar, and then you start getting up into the the higher frequency wavelengths of, gigahertz and megahertz, whatever it is up there. Yeah, they have their own reflective, properties that you can send out a signal, and if it comes back, it can paint a picture of it, which is what radar does, especially on like submarines and that. You send it out, and the computers now, before, back in the World War I and II or whatever, yeah, they would just listen for something and zero in on the direction and try to figure out what it was by hearing the background noises. Now it pings back. Oh, it'll paint you a picture of exactly which boat it is, because of the way the computers can sense that micro second difference in the reflection of the sound or whatever it is, and they can tell you exactly what it is.
Yeah, like I said, it's a noise signature. It's like I said, each vessel, each type of vessel emits a specific kind of signature.
Yeah.
I was gonna say a lot of the sonar, especially on the modern stuff, it's passive. Like it's got the ability to be, what do you call it? Gosh dang, what was the other term? Like, yeah, passive and
yeah, like audible ping.
Yeah. Like say, I forget the terminology for the one where you're pinging, but the passive one, you're literally
active,
just
active sonar.
Active, yeah, thank you. Passive and active. Yeah, you don't really. Yeah, I was gonna say from the submarine side, especially if there's an enemy vessel nearby, you don't want to be just sitting there pinging your sonar.
Yeah, they'll zero in on where the sound is coming from.
Yeah, because like I said, you got sonars and you got transducers. The transducers are what's picking up the audible noises that are being transmitted through the body of water. Now, even surface vessels, it's bad news if you're a submarine and you're sitting there and you're pinging your active sonar array, because then the enemy ship's like, oh, hey, there's a submarine in the air because we just heard it ping. Now, I can tell you in person, those pings, up close, they don't sound anything like what you hear in the movies. It sounds so weird. I don't know how to describe it. It almost sounds like it sounds like a really like high pitched like whine or something, like almost like an animal. I'm like, what the hell was that? And I was like, oh, that was
I guess it probably you could probably hear it again when it echoes back off of something. You can hear it coming back through the sides of the vessel.
I like that. I was inside the submarine and I got to hear it. I got to hear the sonar active ping one time, and it was the weirdest thing. Like, wow, this is nothing like what they
Hey, Mike.
Hello.
Nothing like what they show in movies or in TV.
Evening.
Now. Not like the hunt for Red October, one ping only. I love that movie.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that movie. It's been a long time. I know Scott Glenn was in it, and I know Alec Baldwin was in it, and Sean Connery was the Russian captain.
Oh, I saw it. I literally saw it probably like 3-4 weeks ago. It was on YouTube for free. Yeah, you get an ad like every 20 minutes. Yippee! You watch 3 seconds, hit skip, and keep on watching. But
I just got done like rewatching like a couple months ago U-571 with Matthew McConaughey and Bill Paxton.
I gotta watch that popped up on my feed too. I gotta watch that one again. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one in a long time either. So I was rewatching that. I was like, yeah, that's pretty.
I was like, have you ever seen the movie Das Boot?
No.
With the English subtitles, it's a German submarine movie, and oh yeah, I mean it's old school, but it's dark and all that inside the sub because it's an old diesel electric, and it was a German sub, and that was when they had that the code machine that they were trying to keep from getting into the hands of the enemy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
back in World War II.
Yeah, they probably had the Enigma.
Enigma, that's it. Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say. They still, to this day, believe it or not, there are countries out there that still use diesel electric submarines. Now, these are more modern. They're not like the old World War II Gato class or S class submarines. These are
you're good for modern. An hour under battery power, and after that, you're done.
No, there are countries that still run them, but these are much more modern. But man, I'll tell you what, believe it or not, these diesel electric boats, they are much more quieter than the nuclear powered submarines. They're, like I said, nuclear powered submarines have a much more noticeable noise signature because they're constantly generating power while they're underwater, where these diesel electric boats, really, like I said, their only limitation is having to, they're running off battery power. Their only limitation is having to go up to periscope depth, so that way they can run their snorkel and their diesel motor to temporarily charge their batteries. And once their batteries are charged back up, they just go right back underwater again. And like I said, I don't know how long those can stay underwater. Like the old Gato class and old S class submarines, those could only run off of battery power for like 3 days, and then they have to, go back up the periscope depth or go back up to the surface and start running their diesel motor.
Yeah, they could probably run longer now because when they're underwater, they're using LED lights, not incandescents. They draw a whole lot less current, so more of that battery power can go right to the motors.
The battery technology is much much more efficient now than it was 80 years ago.
Yeah, I wonder if they got like Tesla charging stations at the in the deep part of the ocean.
Maybe.
So, somebody catch me up. How are we on submarine films? What did I miss?
We're just going by sonar sounds and stuff like that.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
got you.
We were talking about
Crimson Tide is a great movie.
Like I said, we got a little bit off topic because I started talking about noise transients, and like I said, like I don't know if I told you this, Mike, but like I said, I used to be in the Navy, and like I said, I used to be on submarines. I was torpedo men's mate on USS Minnesota.
Oh, nice. So yeah,
quality. We've been talking about things like mechanics. They're able to, hear and just understand what is wrong with a car. Things like doctors, and we're just sorry.
Oh, it's actually called
Yeah, but they're able to pre-diagnose problems by listening to the noise that a piece of machinery is making.
You wanna go watch an old submarine film? Watch The Hunley.
The Hunley.
The Hunley was an American Civil War submarine, so 1860s submarine. So all you had was your ears.
Not me.
All you had was your ears.
I'm not going in one of them.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Hunley. I think that got captured by. That was a Union. It wasn't even like a proper submarine. Okay. Majority of it was underwater, but there was a portion of it that stayed,
steel plates above water to deflect cannonball fire.
Like I said, I believe the Hunley got captured by the Confederates and was renamed the CSS Virginia, and that was actually one of the most successful. That was actually one of the most successful warships. It killed. I don't remember how many.
So no, the Virginia is similar to the Monitor and Merrimack, where it's above. The Hunley was actually a submarine that submerged fully. So the Virginia. I look at the Virginia because I didn't recognize the name, but there was they had the Monitor and the Merrimack were the two ironclads during the American Civil War. That was the main two on either side, sort of thing. But the Hunley itself was like an experimental thing, and it was a group of guys that pretty much hand cranked this thing, and it did fully submerge. It was lost at sea, it didn't didn't do great.
The Virginia, I was going to say, the Virginia had killed a lot of Union ships with the spar torpedo. Basically, all it was a bunch of explosives out on a long wooden pole, and they just ran that into the side of a ship and blow the ship up.
Yeah, there was it was deafening to be in there though, because they were pure. They were iron. They were like steel clad things that a cannonball hits it, and you pretty much lost your hearing inside them things. So yeah, I can't imagine being inside that.
Yeah, not me.
But yeah, it's cool. There's a film about the Hunley. That's what I was Googling. What was the name of the film? Because I couldn't remember it. I'm like, what's the name of the film about the Hunley? It's like, do you mean the film The Hunley? I'm like, okay, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but it's 1999 movie. It's a good film. So
that came out.
Donald Sutherland.
That came out just before U-571.
Yeah, Donald Sutherland it is. Yeah.
So Mike's on the warpath. Yeah,
What did you say, Mike? I can't hear anything.
Mike's on the warpath.
Me?
Mike.
Oh, Mike's on the warpath.
Mike's on the warpath. Yeah, he's done a video today all about arming up. He wants everybody to get armed up.
Oh, no, I didn't say that. Don't paraphrase me at all.
No, I was just getting you going. That was all. I knew you was going to say,
it's not a call to arms. I'm
No,
not saying I won't answer a call,
It was a very interesting video you made today, actually. And because you're right, a lot of people do get it right, and they say things like, no, it's in our constitution, we can do that according to the old laws, and they're like not up to date with stuff. So sorry, guys, I mean, okay, maybe Mike can explain what
it was basically Dios was there last night when I was live talking about this, and people kept saying in my comments, "Oh, you've got the right to bear arms in England because you've got it's in the British Constitution sort of thing." And from like 1860, no, what am I about? Is it 1668 or 1669, something like that? And basically, what that was is when we drove King James out, they stopped. They said only Protestants had the right to bear arms. So basically, that's when the monarchy became more of a tourist attraction than an actual leading power, and that's when Parliament took over. So that was the actual initial line. It's the kind of similar sort of thing to you guys had in the States, where it was to prevent any sort of tyranny. And then obviously laws have come into place since then, which has got us to where we are now. But I was sick of people commenting on my videos going, oh, well, you can have do have the right to bear arms. Oh, we do have free speech. It's in the Magna Carta. It's like you can look at all the old documents you want. If they're superseded by all these new laws, it makes no difference.
That's and like that, I've said the same thing about it. All depends on where you are in the U.S. because certain jurisdictions, some areas, hell, some certain cities, even in, like I said, the red states, you do not have the right to self-defense like you think you have. You will be arrested. You will be arrested just for carrying a firearm.
Is it true in the States there's actually a state where anybody could walk into a gun shop and just buy a gun?
No,
that's not true.
All right, here.
You can walk in and buy it, but you're filling out paperwork and getting back.
That's what I'm saying. Yep. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. You gotta wait. You can go in and buy it, but then wait to pick it up.
It's called
an ATF. It depends on the state. Like Virginia, I can go in and buy a rifle as long as I pass the background check with whatever period of time. It used to take me about 15 minutes to run they'd run a background check and it'd pop back up and say, "Oh, you're cleared." Okay, pay for it and leave. And but up in like Maryland and that, no. Well, the rifle's same thing, but handguns, nope. You're on a 30-day
handguns are a little bit a little bit more controlled.
And this gun show loophole thing that everybody loves to talk about is bullshit. The only loophole there is if somebody has a bunch of
sale. If it's a private
somebody has a
sale
bunch of guns and sells it to one of their friends, or you can't throw it on Facebook or Craigslist or that, you'll get banned.
But there are politicians out there that are trying to get rid of that. They're trying
of
to,
course
they're
they
trying
to
quote unquote close the loophole, but it's not a loophole. It never has been. So, like I said, it's called an ATF form 4473. Every person fills them out. If you're going to go buy a firearm, you got to pay for it. Like I said, it's called a national instant background check. It's they call it NICS or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's anywhere from like $25 to like $50 for the background check, depending on where you're at and you're paying. But some of the controlled items, obviously, like I said, it's going to be AOWs, class 3s, anything to deal with short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, suppressors. And then class 7 stuff like full auto machine guns, you got to have special. Yeah, there's
at least a 1 year wait on those. Yeah.
Like I said, and that kind of stuff that requires either an SOT or like I said, you got to have some sort. I don't have any of those licenses. Like I said, everything I've got is just class 1. But handgun, because if like say for instance, when I was out traveling and I was on vacation in Tennessee. I could purchase a normal shotgun, normal shotgun of normal length, normal, or a rifle with a normal length barrel. But I could not go out and purchase a handgun because it's considered trafficking, a firearm, illegal trafficking of firearm. Due to interstate commerce, that's how the ATF gets their freaking their claws into the whole thing. Yeah.
I mean,
so because I'm a resident in Texas, I can buy a handgun in Texas, but I cannot buy a handgun in any other state.
Yeah, same with me. Well, I can buy if I go to Virginia to purchase a handgun, they have to ship it to an FFL dealer in Maryland, and I have to pass all the checks and stuff in Maryland. Then, but a long gun, now cash and carry, so to speak. Pass a background check. Here you go. Pay your money. Here's your 2 boxes of ammo you wanted to buy too, and have a nice day. See you next time.
Okay, so you're saying no. So basically, someone said to me that there are. So was there not so long ago that the laws were changed in some places because they did have states that did allow you to walk in and buy a gun?
Either in 1997 or 1998 or 1999, all the states universally adopted the ATF form 4473, where they required you to do a background check. Now, some states like Connecticut, I had to do 3 separate background checks. 3, not 1, not 2, 3 separate background checks.
Federal, state, and county. Yep.
Yeah, to purchase a shotgun while I was active duty in the Navy. I had to go do 3 separate background checks just to buy a pump action shotgun.
Yep.
That's unheard of.
It's ridiculous. So, and ironically, back in the 70s, when you get your Popular Mechanics magazine, whatever magazine, you could buy whatever you wanted. Back in the early 70s, you could buy a Thompson submachine gun from an ad in the newspaper. You just send them a check for $129, and you'd get a gun in the mail before they start.
There's parts of Manchester like that now. I'm just saying.
That would have ended back in 1968. The mail order guns under the
it was 68. It was early 70s or late 60s. Yep.
Yeah, 1968. That would have been.
It's like you wish you were born a little earlier and you knew what was coming. It's like, I'd have bought a whole bunch of freaking stuff that you're not allowed to have now legally.
In the UK, we get so excited when we get a crossbow or a bow and arrow. We're like, wow, but we can't take it out of the house. If you take it out of the house, make sure it's in a case, in the car, and you're going somewhere like,
private land or a range.
Private land or,
It's that way in the States, depending on where you're at, and also depending on the gun. Because some areas, like I said, they're kind of laissez-faire. Hey, everybody carries a handgun here, not a big deal. Western states, that's the luxury of living west of the Mississippi. But in other areas, if you're like carrying around a rifle or shotgun, you will get the attention of the local authorities. And I know this personally, firsthand.
Okay. When to ring the alarm now, Mike? We took non-verbal acoustic signatures, identification. Recently, we had this attack on a train in the UK where a load of public people got attacked by a guy with a knife. I mean, you're sitting there. Are there signs? Are there vibrations? Or what can we identify? I mean, what do you guys reckon?
I mean, you're talking about reading the room, right? And on a national scale, it's difficult because nobody wants to panic too soon. Nobody wants to be that certain prepper going, Day X is here. Everybody get in your bunker. But it feels like if you look, anyone use any AI whatsoever, doesn't matter which one it is, type what would happen for an English civil war or something like that, and the first 2 or 3 steps we can already check off the list. So that's where I'm at. Final step. Wow. So my prep's increased. My budget doesn't allow it, but I'm stretching everything so I can increase my preps. I'm being sensible about it. I'm not going out trying to arm myself to the teeth or raise an army, but I've accelerated my networking and communication between the people in my area. We've got a meet, a local meet between several preppers who live nearby, and we're meeting up this month because we want to accelerate them plans and make sure they're in place.
Well, like you said, reading a room on a massive level, but
Mhm.
you're in a situation like, you know, if someone acted sooner and maybe pressed the alarm on the train, I don't know, could some of it be prevented, or you know,
Oh yeah, there's
what prevention?
without doubt more social and situational awareness could have been a prevention. How many people were sat on that train and didn't even notice till it was happening? Didn't notice the suspicious character getting on. Didn't know because it wasn't like he was doing it stealth and then suddenly pulled a knife out. He was walking around with this knife. You know, he'd walked into another place before he got on the train. So people's situational awareness, yes, could have definitely raised the alarm sooner. We talked about pepper spray. That could have made a massive difference.
And fire extinguishers.
Fire extinguishers, anything like that. I feel like if there was a competent prepper or survivalist on that train, there would have been a bit more of an advantage in the people's favour.
Well, I don't know, because I mean, some people get into panic mode. If all of a sudden you've got a geezer that says, "Right, you lot over there, men, all right, women run to the back. All you men come here." How many of those men are going to run towards you? I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll be that type of person. Right, all the ladies, children down the back, elderly down the back. All you men, stand up, come here. You got a case, you got a bag, you got this. Let's go. It's like, you know, we'll make a barrier.
If you're making the order, not as much response as you'd like. But like Bombardier said on one of my chats is, as well as fear being contagious, so is heroics. In United 93, when they fought back, it took one of them to just go for it. And men suddenly saw and followed. They will follow more than they'll follow orders. You know what I mean? If you put yourself in front and you think, I'm going to take this guy down, I'm hoping there's enough good people that'll go,
what happened at London Bridge? All of a sudden, everybody said, right, let's stop these people from attacking other people.
Because one guy made started it off, and people follow that. Both fear and bravery are contagious.
It takes one to lead before many will follow.
Yeah, definitely.
If you decide you want to lead, you'll get followers. More than likely, it might take a minute. Some guys might be like, screw it, he's going, I'm going to.
Yeah, way in there.
Yeah. Quite often, sometimes, if you sort of shame people to doing stuff, they sort of do it. I don't know. I'm sure that you guys have experienced where you've said to someone, "Hey, pick up that banana peel." In your lifetime, you've done that. All of us here, at one point or another, we've said to someone, you know, pick that, and they do it. We're kind of embarrassingly, yeah, I'll pick it up. So if you sort of
peer pressure,
if you've got people on a train, well, yeah, women would definitely run to the back. If you say, right, get you, because they'll be screaming. You know, I'm just thinking all the numbers of people on that train. You know, all the signs, like you said, the guy was actually running to a barber shop before he went onto the train attack. Was that before the train attack? He went into a barber shop and flashing his big knife everywhere, and everybody was.
Yeah, I think, like I thought I heard something about that. I thought I heard something like, didn't he attack like a 14-year-old or something like that?
Wow, as well.
I think that's what I don't know. Like I said, I don't know everything about it, but like I said, I think I heard something about a 14-year-old getting attacked.
So, like, you know, these.
Sorry, 14. When's that today?
No, the same guy that did the attack on the train. I think he attacked like a 14-year-old.
Yeah, he attacked a kid. Andy went into a barber shop and threatened a lot of people in there as well. Yes, and if the barber shop had raised the alarm, like you're saying, Daryl, maybe he wouldn't have got all the way to the train.
Exactly. That's what I mean. People need to act, and I mean, they say to you, "See it, sort it." You know, go on the train. If you see something suspicious, you know, tell someone. You know, but it's many situations where you could see people lying on the floor, and people just walking over them, just stepping by. I've got to go work. I've got to go home. You know, but raising that awareness is very important nowadays, especially with the way that the situation is at the moment, with the knife crime going up everywhere. And I don't know what it's like. Has it gone up in more gun crime in America? More.
Hey, Shadow, you mind highlighting that comment that Vanessa put up there? Yeah, that just so you know the foreign audience is aware. in US, you can get in trouble for carrying blade lengths over a certain length. Usually, the rule of thumb is over 4 inches, but if you can't discern that, basically, if the knife blade goes past the length, past the width of the palm of your hand, it's illegal to be carrying in public.
Mhm.
So yes, you can get in trouble with that.
Is again, I assume that is different variations of that state by state.
Yeah, state by state. I think also I think it also depends on whether or not, like a person's like, again, don't quote me on this specifically, but I'm just throwing out an example, a broad example. Say somebody's out hiking the Appalachian Trail or something like that, or, it's not out of the realm of, possibilities or something unusual. Oh, hey, somebody's got a big Bowie knife or a big, hunting knife.
Yeah.
I just wanted to also say, just because I said I might stand up and confront anybody sort of with a knife on a train, I don't encourage anybody out there to do the same thing. If there's police, get the police.
Yeah. When it comes to one-on-one or anything like that, the best thing is avoidance. Run away from a blade. It's always the best option if you can do it.
Yeah, it's really hard to defeat a blade, even if you are, like I said, again. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mike, but I was gonna say, even here in the United States, how like most of us we got the ability to carry a firearm. Well, there's a thing called the 21 foot rule, and that means if the person's within 21 feet of you, they will have that, and like I said, they're quick enough. They will have that blade stuck into your body quicker than you can get your firearm drawn on them and able to get your bead sight lined up to put around in them.
Yeah. That's it's a good rule of thumb, and people need to take some advice off some people with a pinch of salt. Because if somebody's coming at you with a blade, please don't squirt them with silly string. It's not going to stop them in the tracks. That's what somebody was advising. It's ridiculous. You just don't put your life in that kind of risk, sort of thing. The only way I would be up and confronting it and going forward and not away is if it was to be between innocent people or my family, where I will put them before me. So... But again, like Daryl,
Hey,
I only speak for myself. I will never tell anyone to do the same.
Yeah. Hey, Bob.
Hey,
What's up,
guys.
Bob?
Hey, we were
Hi,
talking about radar signatures earlier.
No, my only defense against a knife is I'd take that freaking raccoon and put him right in front of me.
There you go. I got tough skin. After he tries to stab me, I'm just going to turn around and bite you in the thumb.
Mike and Bob, you can read in the private chat.
I've seen,
what this topic is about, so you get a hint on.
It doesn't say anything about submarine movies, knife attacks, or anything, Shadow. So I think you're wrong.
No.
Are you good at mechanics, Bob? Are you good at mechanics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The engine and machine fault diagnostics, Acoustic. I like the point you've made there. I assume you've already read this out to people, but I'll just identifying specific mechanical faults, e.g. loose bearings, worn gears, fuel mixture issues in salvage engines or complex machines solely for analyzing the pitch, rhythm, and deviation of the sounds. Operating sounds. Listen, if you're one of these people that drive around in the same car all the time and that is going to be your SHTF vehicle, do some journeys without the music blasting and stuff like that, and get used to the sounds of your own car and the feel of your own car, and you'll know instantly when something's wrong. If you drive around in a world of your own blasting Barbie Girl 24/7 and then suddenly you hear a knocking, you're not going to know if that knocking's always been there.
All right.
You know,
Funny, I gotta say this, and I thought of this earlier when we were talking about that. Why is it when we're driving, and we have some music playing, not necessarily loud or banging, or maybe it is, we get into a stressful driving situation, what's the first thing we always do? Turn the radio down.
Yeah.
Why?
Turn it off
Because your
immediately.
senses are overloaded on the audio, so you got to get, we don't know why we do it, but this is why we do it. Your
Mhm.
senses are not overloaded, but they're loaded up with sounds and other things going through your brain.
Wow,
We
that's
turn that
interesting.
down to focus better.
Yeah. And your brain picks up on what you're listening to as well, and whether people admit it or not. If you put on some heavy meatloaf or something like that, you'll drive a lot faster than if you're playing some Bach, or something like that. The music. Sorry, go on.
I wonder if anyone's ever done a study on that, whether they've said like 20% of crashes are because someone was listening to this music, or 35% were because they wasn't.
That falls into distraction. You're texting while driving. You're higher likely to get in an accident. You're reading the map, reading the book, eating your lunch, doing something other than focusing on the road with both hands on the wheel. You are in a higher risk category to have an issue while driving. Music is the same thing. Your brain is going, so your feet start beep-bopping and your head's bobbing back and forth. You're not paying attention to anything.
If you're in a road traffic accident over here, the police on the scene, without any sort of warrant, will try and look at your phone. Will try and ask you to see your phone, to see if you were texting, to see if there's any messages that had just come through, to see if you just ended a video call and stuff like that. So
I was reading Guardian's friggin' comment, hard style or dead stat, perhaps even, was it funk? Or funk?
Funk. Yeah, dubstep, anything like that. It just, you end up I've done it. If I've got Bat Out of Hell going as I'm driving up to Scotland, I gotta quickly look at the speedo because I'm 20 miles over the limit. So, there we go. Let's slow down. Let's put some Buddy Holly on. I'll chill out to that.
Has anybody got any avoidance stuff, like when right, I'm going to avoid this, or I'm going to avoid that, or I'm going to avoid going there, or
like a noise signature or something? Is that what you're talking about, or
you're going into a center of a town, for example, but you see all of a sudden a mass protest evolving in front of you. All of a sudden, people bringing their signs, and then all of a sudden, riot police are coming. You say, right, I'm going to get away from this situation. I mean, you're like, oh, I've got a bad feeling about getting on this train today. I'm not going to get on this train. Is it like, do we?
Trust your gut, 100%. Trust your gut. I would say that to anyone. And do you know what? If you're wrong, at least you're alive and wrong.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Yeah,
bingo. Yeah,
and if you're walking towards the city center or whatever, and you hear sounds off in the distance towards city center that you have never heard before, you may want to just not go, or sirens or screaming or just loud noise. You may be like, let me look online and see what's going on before I venture in there and get my ass in a ringer.
Yeah, sometimes people tend to rubberneck, don't they? We call it in the UK. We call it, they tend to rubberneck. There's something that happens, and they just sort of slow down and stick their head out the window.
Oh yeah, they do that here too. It's like there'd be a wreck on the southbound lanes. Steve knows this. There's a wreck on the southbound side, and you're coming up on, you're on the northbound side, and you're like, why is traffic slowing down? You get up there's nothing there, but there's something going on the other side. Everybody has to slow down and take a look. It's like, oh, look at the pretty flashing lights. Oh, the guy in front of me just decided to accelerate. Let me accelerate too. And that'll back traffic up for miles.
Yep.
So maybe, what about that? Anybody got any plans with that, in, for example, in SHTF situation where
what, rubbernecking? I won't be driving.
No, like sort of your route plans, like I've got to change my plans.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it depends on your situation, obviously, but if you're on an evacuation or a bug out, because I mean, all of us plan, I assume, to bug in initially. That's the best place to be, but you can be forced out of that situation. So I've got 3 bug out locations based at range, so walkable, cyclable, drivable, depending on what's available to me, and all of them have multiple routes, including some that are practically off-road. Because if it depends, it depends. Again, it's about reading the room, right? If you're ahead of the game, you might be able to jump on the motorway and get right up to your destination before anyone starts panicking. But if you wait till the red screen appears across your TV going, emergency alert, missiles incoming, and try and get in your car and get on the motorway, then you're going nowhere. So yeah, it's about reading the room, but definitely have multiple routes and stuff like that. About the sensory side of things, that whole having your music up loud as well. I've seen it so many times because I'm next to a city that people are in the car like this, practically eyes closed, dancing away to music, and there's ambulances trying to get by, and they don't hear the sirens. That's how loud the music is in the car.
I've seen that too. Yeah.
Yeah, massive speakers, massive bass speakers, and you hear it thumping. You can hear them from inside your flat.
Yeah, it's called free music.
Yeah.
Also, sometimes they get their cars revved up as well. So yeah, knowing what situation to go in. Oh, this is safe. This is not safe. Or this is building up to be not safe, and preemptive sort of moving. You know what? Like we was talking about earlier. We was talking about elephants, Bob, where Guardian was saying, the elephants can sense.
They can sense sound vibrations through their feet, through the ground.
That's that old Native American in the fort, right? He puts his head to the floor and he said, cavalry's coming. And he goes, oh, really? How many? He puts his head down again. He goes, about 50. And he goes, how does he do that? He said, there's a gap under the gate.
That's about it. I grew up with a lot of Native Americans, and that is such fallacy that they have. all the Indians I used to run around with were just like us. Suburban kind of people. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about that Mel Gibson movie with James Garner, Maverick. He's Mel Gibson. He's playing Maverick, and he's getting down on the ground. And what the hell was her name? Jodie Foster's character. She's like, "What do you hear?" Oh, nothing. I thought I'd lay down and take a nap real quick before we get started.
That's how it is. That's really how it is with the Indians. They're the same as we are. Yeah.
Chef was saying earlier that he used to listen to the railroad tracks.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can hear it coming from miles off. You can hear the sing of the rail. I used to live next to railway lines. You can tell your train's coming before you can hear anything, just by the vibration coming off that rail. Which is good if you're using that as a trekking route in SHTF, right? Nobody wants a stand by me moment on the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Has anybody walked up to a wild animal without realizing it was really wild and it could kill you?
Yeah, then I married it.
Oh, sorry.
I'm assuming that was the axe.
Yeah. Did nothing flew over and hit my head, so it must have been.
I wanted to pat a horse in Argentina once, and my girlfriend's dad said to me, "No, salvaje, don't go near it." And I was trying to stroke the horse. I was thinking in my mind, yeah, I'll go up to it, and it's like really wild, sort of still wild horses in Argentina. Is amazing, but it could have killed me. So obviously, I was like, I wanted to sort of go up to it, but my girlfriend's dad was saying to me, don't go near it, don't go near it. So that's why I asked the panel if anybody's ever experienced a situation where they thought, well. I've seen YouTube videos where people going up to buffaloes in Yellowstone trying to stroke it.
Bring us back on topic. From my own experience, just by listening to your car while you're driving down the road, I've detected water pump failure because it starts chattering and vibrating.
Right.
Also, alternator and generator. I'm that old when cars used to have a generator, not an alternator. When the bearings and those are starting to go out, and same with brakes. Whenever I remember the cars, when I was young, they were all 4 pad, not disc brakes. They were the old style shoes, drum brakes.
Yeah.
And as soon as you hear that first squeal of a rivet rubbing on the drum or the disc. Fix it right now.
Rivets into the drum. You better get your brake pads on there.
Right now. Yeah, get it in. And that was back in the old days when we'd pull it in the driveway and we'd fix it ourselves.
Yeah, I did the brake discs on her car the other day, and it sounds. Luckily, modern pads have a little metal arm that goes over the rubber, and it's like a little feeler. So that will start hitting the disc when your pad, when your pad has still got a little like enough there. So as soon as you're hearing that, don't think, I've got another 100 miles. Get them changed. It's not expensive.
Right
it's
away.
not worth your life.
Well, like, all right. I know I'd already said this before, and I'm assuming that, Mike, you're probably broadcasting this on your channel, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, like Bob said before, with my old truck, I've been able to, I've been able to drive the truck merely by sound when, like I said, my speedometer and cruise control went out. Because, like I said, a wire had broken on the axle on the sensor that feeds the actual speed to the speedometer and also, allows the cruise control to actually work. So, like I said, I had to not only drive by, the surrounding traffic, but like I said, I had to drive by the tone that the engine made, because I knew at a particular tone that the engine made, I was driving between 70 and 75 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then also, like I said, I've been able to pick up on telltale signs of diodes going out on alternators. But the more recent thing was, like I said, I was able to pick up the bearing assemblies going out on the air conditioner motor. So that was when I deleted the air conditioner on the truck.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is it's a really good skill to have, because that speed, or especially these days when they're digital, anything like that can go really quick, and you should know what you're doing. Just don't suddenly put your foot down and go 200 miles an hour. For me, it's less about the sound, though, Dios. I don't know if you agree, but it's less about the sound, but more the feel.
Yeah,
the vibration through the engine. I get more from that than I do from the sound.
Okay, well, I was going to say, I guess from the truck driving side, me driving semi-trucks, not my pickup truck.
Yeah.
I could feel when the trailer was starting to jackknife and not have to look out of look in my side mirrors. I could feel then the truck and trailer were the telltale signs of either the trailer in active jackknife or the truck and trailer going to start jackknifing. I could feel it in the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I did have one interesting experience when I was in the Air Force, and we'd pull an F-16 into the hangar. We'd work on it for 5 days, fixing everything, repairing, maintaining everything that we found, repair it. And then on a Friday night, we'd tow it out of the hangar, out to the flight line, and we do what's called an engine run. And it was a weird thing. We never figured out what it was, but I'm sitting there, I'm kneeled down next to the airplane, and the guy in front of me is my best friend, TJ. He's an engine troop, and we're sitting there with our flashlights because we got some panels open while the engine's running. We have to go in there and inspect our systems, because I did some repairs on the hydraulics. TJ's in front of me, and we're all squatted down, and we heard a weird sound. It sounded like a freight train, like whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh,
TJ took off fucking running. Hey man, I didn't hesitate. If I see an engine mechanic running, guess who's right behind him? I'm right behind him. And the guy in the cockpit, one of the crew chiefs, it stopped making that sound. And when he got out of that cockpit, he, what the hell are you guys doing? You scared the crap out of me, blah, 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 blah. But it was one of those weird things that happened. Nothing failed. The test, it all ran through the test fine. But when you hear a weird sound, react, man.
It doesn't react. The sound that doesn't belong and doesn't belong where you're trying to listen. Yeah, get out.
Bingo. Yeah, especially the engine plane of rotation is right next to me, because I'm right next to the fuselage, and we're all in a line, going to go and inspect our systems. And oh my, that was a memorable moment. As soon as I saw that engine troop run,
I agree there, Vanessa.
Guess who's right behind him?
Yeah, catastrophic failures happen when you least expect it. Yeah.
Yeah, when do light bulbs burn out? Right when you turn the light switch on. That's it.
Yeah. Well, isn't that a fact?
Well, in that case, my house is safe because they never turn the bloody lights off.
You must be in a house full of women.
Kids are worse.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's funny when I go out to the cabin. Yeah, I'm always shutting my light off. Why? Because it's the only energy I have. When I'm at home, it's like, I'll walk out of the garage, light stays on for 3 days. You know, it's a fluorescent, not fluorescent, LED
Bulb,
lights. It doesn't draw anything really, but I was like, do you ever shut the light off out there? I was like, no, keeps the mice out.
All lights up for the party they're having.
I was gonna say, like, I've got photocell sensors, on the desk, photocell sensors on the exterior lights of my house. So, like I said, I've got floodlights on the front and floodlights on in the back. They just automatically turn on. But those are LED.
Yeah, I got LED spotlights on my shed in my backyard here. I have an extension cord. It's probably 3 feet into the dirt now. They're 3 inches into the dirt. I don't even know it's there anymore. And those things have literally been on for, I don't know, 7 years. They're 2 LED floodlights. I think they draw between the two of them, 26 watts. But it lights up my whole backyard with a nice glow. And I can see. And they just stay on. So, hell with it.
Yeah. On the topic with your home environments and stuff like that, on Shadow's topic, you've got to make sure you know your own environment very well as well when there's no other sound, when there's no noise pollution. Like, Mark, you were on a live with me not so long ago, and people were like, oh, what was that noise? What was that noise? And it was the crickets, right? You're that used to them that it's normal. So them crickets going silent would alert you to something. So what I'm saying is,
like an earthquake or something like that. That's why I mentioned Bob earlier.
Spend time in your environment, getting to know the sounds that are normal every day, peace times. You know what I mean?
Like I go to bed at night and we have an air conditioner. It's mostly just on fan. We like the background noise. But I'll go to bed at night sometimes, and I hear it, but I don't hear it. But I'll hear something else. I'll be like, okay, that's not a normal sound in my house. It's just me and the wife, and we're upstairs in the front room. And I'll shut the fan off. Be like, holy shit, my hose blew a leak, and it's outside leak. And I can hear water running. Not running, but I can hear the sound in the pipes of, like, the hissing sound. I'm like, yep, not normal. The toilet got stuck one night. My wife's like, I figured out what it was when she got the water bill, like 2 months later. She's like, man, we only use like a couple hundred gallons of water a month. Now, this past month, we used like 900 gallons. I was like, yeah, I went away for 3 days, came back, and the toilet was running because you flushed it, didn't check it.
And it was still doing that constant trickle that you get.
It was just trickle. No, it was trying to fill the whole time, but she only uses the bathroom in the middle of the night, and then she comes downstairs. And with the AC running, she doesn't hear it. And then she go up at night and go in the bathroom and not understand why it's running and whatever. So I fixed that. So yeah, a little bit of a water bill there, but you hear things, what doesn't belong, what's not normal.
Yeah.
Shadow, I'm gonna take off just for a little bit. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
It's like when I leave the house, if I don't have my keys hanging on my belt clip on the side of my hip, I stop because I'm so used to that noise there. It's always there. I have one of those brass boat dog clips on my keychain.
She's like, why have you so many keys? Because I know where they are.
You can hear me coming. My kids used to laugh because we'd be walking through the store and, shopping, whatever. And they'd be with mommy and I'd go over to get something else. And they'd be like, my wife was like, where'd daddy go? And they would just stop and look up at the ceiling. And they'd be like, oh, he's 2 aisles over. Because they could hear my keys jingling.
I did run into a weird situation the other day. During the day, or most of the time I'm home alone. Most of the time I recognize the sounds of the house. It does creak a little bit and little things like that,
settling noises.
I was in the laundry room and I heard a couple of really loud like footsteps above me, and that's when I went, WTF, I'm going upstairs, because it was like boom boom. Ran right up there and I didn't see anything or anybody, but I reacted immediately because, dude, if there's somebody in this house, because somebody could conceivably get in the house and I don't know it, that was a weird situation I ran into just the other day.
That was a ghost. We were talking about that before too.
I smudged the house before we moved in here, and if that happens again, I'm going to bust out my sage and smudge the house again.
So just to be clear, if you're going to smudge, if you grow your own sage on your property, that is the best thing to use. Not something you bought store bought shit. Okay, it'll work, but Yeah, if you grow it on your property, yes, it's part of your environment then, and that helps better. Supposedly. I'm not a witch doctor or nothing like that, but I did stay at Holiday Inn Express last night.
In fact, with along that, I got to go over to the Catholic Church and refill my holy water, because when I sage, I use sage, prayer, and holy water, and in the name of Jesus Christ and all that. I'm a little spiritual because this stuff has validation to it. It really does, So if I hear any more footsteps or anything like that again, guys, I'm gonna smudge the whole damn house.
Just say the name of Jesus, like you mean it, like
Yep, I know. Yep, that's the way I do it.
Well, you can't really say it. Well, you can say it and not mean it, but they know it.
They know the name.
See, the missus keeps telling me
they
this.
know if you've got that belief as well. If you've got that real belief, they won't come near you.
See, she thinks there's something in this house, sort of thing. But my theory is, if it's not sinister, then let it be. It's not causing harm right now. So
Psalm 91 is a good one, Mike.
Yeah.
Psalm 91.
I'll dig out my book from behind me afterwards.
Yeah, for me, if that persists, then I'll proceed with the smudging. But if not, well, oh well. But yeah, being aware of your surroundings is like I was a hunter for years and years and years, and sound is extremely important. In fact, there were more than one red squirrel who accidentally got shot at the end of the day because I'd be sitting there perfectly motionless. I'm deer hunting, and a squirrel would see me, and those sons of bitches, man.
Yep, just like raccoons. We will call you out.
Do. And
has anybody ever had dog experience? You work with dogs, Bob?
Before the sun would go down, I would locate. I didn't bring home a deer, but I brought home a squirrel because I'd find boom.
Nice. I think Alan said the same thing, right? The first time you go out camping and into the woods and stuff like that, every creak, every like tree swaying, you think, it's somebody coming to murder me. You've got to get used to it. You've got to keep doing it. Every time I'm
out of my cabin, I mean, I hear the background noise of a highway nearby, not nearby, but I can hear it. And I hear the occasional dog in the distance. I'll hear a coyote yipping, down in the valley somewhere. It's like, it's a coyote. The one night I was out there, I'm by myself, and I've never armed up while I'm sitting by the campfire. It's in my bag in my cabin. And I'm sitting there, and it's just nice and quiet, crackling of the fire. And I hear this, like 50 feet from me, this huff sound. I'm like, my brain immediately went, oh my God, freaking Bigfoot's out to kill me. And so I go, and it happened like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, screw this. I got up, turned my light on, my flashlight, walked in the cabin, grabbed my sidearm. I mean, I've never sat there with that thing like loaded, ready to go, like chambered and everything. It sat there in my lap for like 2 hours. And now I'm online looking. That was a freaking deer. It was a buck. It was a buck making a huffing sound because I was in his territory.
Yeah, you're somewhere near his girlfriend.
If I had known that, I'd have turned my spotlight on it. Well, and maybe had dinner for a couple months. But anyway.
I was going to ask if you've had experience with dogs because you're saying you know these sounds and you went hunting, Bob. I was going to ask you, do you know the sounds of dogs when they're doing specific things? Like people can say, "Oh, my dogs are doing this now," my dog.
Not really. I've never hunted with dogs, and I don't own a dog. Well,
I don't hunt with my dog, but I know what my dog's up to. When I hear a thud, I'm like, he just laid down by the front door because mommy's not home. I hear another thud, I'm like, he just went to bed because I'm coming downstairs and he knows I'm home. I mean, I know what my dog's doing and where, and he's a German Shepherd. He just wants to follow me around. So my black lab, I could hear him. It's like, my wife would be like, what is that noise? I'm like, George got into something. I go downstairs, there's a 5-pound bag of flour all over the floor.
Goddamn lab.
He's covered in paste. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
There are hunters that go with packs of dogs, and they can you know, I've sort of watched a few videos of a few hunters in the USA where they're hunting specific game and they're sort of describing, oh, my dog's doing this now. I'm like, I found it fascinating that they knew exactly what
they train the
you know.
dogs. They know what the dogs are going to do, and all of a sudden they start a certain type of bark. They're onto something, or they treat a bear or a cat or something like
that.
that.
Was it. The barks, they're onto something. That was one of the things as well.
They use hunting hounds on wild hog.
That's the one.
They do that too.
Yep.
That can be dangerous for the dogs, though. I've seen a lot of dogs not come back because of that.
That's why they make Kevlar like suits that the
dogs on the necks.
It goes around their necks and their upper body.
They'll have specific dogs to chase down the animal, and then have a specific dog that will be able to pin it down. Another bigger dog. I saw one where they use specific dogs to sort of hunt it down initially, and then they brought in sort of heavier dogs to sort of grab hold of it.
That depends on what they're hunting, but yeah.
Massive boar. They were huge. And one, you know,
I'm not sure, but like I know over there in South Africa, and I wish Guardian would come back on here, but they have the Rhodesian Ridgeback, and I think those are I think those are like bred to hunt lion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean they say that, but well, as more they got the ball. Is it the Barbell?
I'm not sure.
The Barbell is a big sort of beefy sort of giant stack.
There's a lot of big dog breeds out there that you don't hear much about because they're
Barbell.
There is a Russian. There's some kind of a Russian dog, you know, Russian breed that big ass dog,
200-pound dog. Yeah,
it's designed like it was bred for hunting bear.
Yeah, it looks like a giant. Not a boxer, like the one from the old Tom and Jerry cartoons. That like a bulldog. They look like ginormous bulldogs, and they're like 200 pounds.
Alibi Caucasian shepherd dogs, Alibi Kangals, Turkish Kangal.
I would only go hunting something like that with a belt-fed M60 machine gun and lay down grazing fire. Just lay down grazing fire. Go through a 200 round.
Yeah, but you'll use an A10 with a Vulcan cannon on a raccoon.
A10.
Because raccoons are smart.
Damn raccoons. God,
whatever.
Damn those raccoons.
I hate you all.
Well, you got to stay out of his damn earwig traps, Chef.
Yeah, well, he started putting that nasty ass Polynesian fish sauce in there, and I kind of was like, "Nah, that's nasty shit."
Oh, that was round one. Was fish sauce. After that, man, yeah. Well, there was only one trap left from at the end of the summer because a great big full-grown raccoon was on my back fence one night, and the next night all of them were dug up and then spun around and nothing in them. You know, oh, sons of bitches. Hello, Guardian. Welcome in.
Hey, Guardian.
Hey, panel. How you guys doing?
Hey, there he is.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good.
Welcome back.
Do you know about Rhodesian Ridgebacks, Guardian?
Yeah, so it's just I'll just drop like a little thing for a couple of seconds. So Rhodesian Ridgebacks, and the dog that you were referring to as well there is called the Boer. It's a bit hard to pronounce if you don't have a bit of Dutch in your.
How did you say it? How did you say it again? Sorry.
So Dutch is my second language, and then you pronounce it Boer.
Boer.
You got it Boer. Like you got to
rolling the R's.
Oh, okay.
So it's a pretty strong breed as well. But it's good that you have the knowledge on the Rhodesian Ridgebacks. Also, like very prominent dogs here. You guys probably have them over there. That's how too.
I wouldn't say Rhodesian Ridgebacks are prominent, but you know I'm aware that they exist. I'm aware that they exist thanks to the different prepping novels that I listen to on audiobook.
Yeah, we've got a very large array of different types of species of dogs here. We very much do because of the type of farming and because of the rough terrain. Different breeds of dogs as well had to be kind of bred to the point that they're at, just to be able to survive the harsh climate, I guess, and just the way that South Africa is. So a lot of them are used as service protection dogs, like you speaking about Boer, which is really a big one. And that dog specifically is used for those purposes. But if you want a unstoppable dog, it's not from South Africa at all. It's actually from there on the European side. The Cane Corso is
Cane
Corso, yeah, serious dog.
Staffordshire Bull Terriers over here were originally bred as war dogs. That's where the breed originally comes from.
It's my favorite breed. If you got to ask me any breed that is actually for, not while I have a family like I do now, but when I was in my teen years, in my early 20s, I had a Staffy, and I absolutely love the fact they look like baby seals when you're like friends with them. Yeah. It's amazing.
But do you know what? We had a Staffy when my son was born, my oldest son, who's now 20 odd. I say odd because I forget their ages. Sorry. But we had one when he was a baby, and it was the most protective dog over the baby ever. It wasn't like people say, oh, don't have them near kids. You couldn't go near the baby without us saying it was okay, and the dog would then let you go and touch her.
I had a Newfoundland and a Labrador at the same time, and wrestling with both of my sons, the lab would participate, right?
Yeah.
Then we got the Newfoundland, and they're very protective of children. The only way after a while I could wrestle with my sons is go into my bedroom and wrestle with my boys on the bed, because she would get between me and the kids. She didn't hurt me, but she would not let me wrestle with my boys. She's like, no.
I've heard that with German Shepherds, they can be protective of women.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine is very protective of my wife. Yep.
Good deal.
Now, like I said, when I was a kid growing up, we had this Australian Shepherd. He was very protective of me and my brother, when we were young kids. Very protective. It was to a point where my mom had to warn one of my older sister's friends to, hey, don't be doing that, because that dog's gonna bite you. Because I don't remember what she was doing. I don't know if she was like patting one of us or something like that, but the dog took it as aggression when she wasn't being aggressive.
The animals can sense stuff. Fun thing. When I was just out of college, my very, 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 very soon to be ex-girlfriend came over the house to confront me, and I had a Vizsla Hungarian hunting dog, and we adopted her. She would tow me on my skateboard for like 3 miles a day. She just loved to run. And my girlfriend came in the kitchen. I'm standing on one side, she's standing on the other, and the dog is sitting in front of me, and she reared back to smack me, and that dog about took her fucking head off.
Oops.
And I just stood there going like, good girl. Now get the hell out of my house and don't ever come back.
Well, I'm going to bounce out of here, fellas.
All right.
The wife came home suddenly today because I sent her a text. I said, my girlfriend's here and she needs some money. Can you bring some cash home? Next thing you know, she's right in the driveway. I don't know why she was so fast.
That's not what you sent her. You said, "Hey, I finally got my pension check and I bought some more blue pills." She was like, "I'm on my
way."
Come on home, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. I don't want this thing to run out on me.
All right. Peace out, you guys. Good to talk to you all.
Take care, Bob.
Cheers, Bob. See you soon.
Yeah, dogs can sense stuff, vibrations, sounds. Oh, so GP is back. You there, Guardian?
Yeah, so just quickly on that, I just want to comment about that. And it's just they also have that weird sense to them where if a dog doesn't trust a person particularly, it's usually kind of, it's wise to
guard.
It's on guard. Them.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys have seen this. There's a wire-haired terrier that actually stalks its prey. It slows down, it's almost like a cat movement where it stays perfectly still. So if you ever have the time, check out wire-haired terrier stalking. It's amazing. Yeah, go for a check.
Oh, so you asked earlier and I was driving, and I'll say it again. Yes, I had we had some issues in our house with, I'll just call it spirits or something. My wife knew somebody who came to the house and checked out some rooms and that. I didn't say this earlier, but she went out into my garage and she took like 3 steps out there down the stairs and just stood there for a minute and turned around and left. She could hear things and sense things and that. She came back in the kitchen, shut the door, and she's like, who was in that? Whose wood shop is that? My wife looks at her and she's like, well, 99% of those tools were my father-in-law's and he passed away. So my husband brought him home. She's like, why? She said, because the voice said, this is my shop, get out. And she said that to my wife. My wife's like, yeah, that makes sense. Because I talk to my dad out there all the time. And then she went up into my one daughter's room upstairs. I said this one earlier. She checked all the rooms up there and just found random little things here and there. And she walks into my daughter's end room, which was always cold. Didn't matter if the heat, if it was summertime, whatever. It was just always cold in there. And her hands were always cold, feet, everything. And she opened the door and took like 2-3 steps in the door. The door was open. And she kind of nodded her head like, oh, shit. And she looked at my wife and my other daughter who were in, they're in the house with her. And she said, I'm going to be a minute. As she shut the door, my daughter in her bedroom up there, she had a longboard skateboard on the other side of the room. It came flying across the room and put a hole in the sheetrock. As she's shutting the door, my wife about screamed. My little daughter screamed. And she was in there for a bunch of minutes, like talking and whatever. She comes out. She's like, yeah, this one's not leaving. And my wife's like, what the hell was that with the skateboard? Can you hear me?
You're breaking up.
I'm probably too far.
Yeah,
from
I can hear you just fine there, Chef.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so yeah, no, there was crap going on in my house. I had old school security type cameras that would pick up that had night vision on them. I don't know what Newton nanometer the infrared was, but I would pick up orbs and shit everywhere. I put one in her bedroom and just left it there. And like clockwork, every time somebody went up the stairs, this large orb that I can only describe as the size of maybe a soccer ball would just move around the room. And it wouldn't go with the air currents. I could see dust flying, but I could see this thing going in the wrong direction every time. And but no, there was something going on in here. And she did some stuff, and we just don't say the name. She actually told us what the name was, and she's like, yeah, don't ever say that name in the house because you'll just piss it off. And it's like, okay, so we don't say the name. And yep, no, I can tell you flat out, I had to repair the hole in the wall because it wasn't there in the morning when I left. And my wife told me the skateboard was still sitting on the floor with sheetrock dust on the tip. So it threw it at her and missed and freaked me out, freaked my wife out. I'm like, yeah, we need to have something done. And she came back and did some stuff, I guess smudging or whatever in the house. And that seemed to calm everything down. We had a lot of weird shit going on. My daughter would get scratches on her back when she took a shower. I'd get scratches on my thigh and my calf while I'm sleeping. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and be like, what's burning on my leg? I thought maybe I got bit by a spider or something. I go in the bathroom, turn the light. I'm like, oh, there's 4 welts running down my calf. And they're fingernail welts. You could tell. They were equal spaced, and they just ran from just behind my knee down to my ankle. And as it got lower and lower, the outer ones would get thinner, and disappear, and the 2 middle ones would stay there. I'm like, yep, I got scratched. And this is before this woman came to the house. So we had some bizarre crap going on in there, and it just freaked me out. Okay, I'm done.
How long ago was that, Chef?
That was about, I think, Mike, you're on mute, Mike.
Yep.
I think that was about 8-9 years ago.
Can I ask what smudging is? I have no idea what smudging is.
Oh, you're burning like sage.
It's like sage, and it's you like light it up, and it turns. You've heard of a smudge pot? No, you never heard of.
I've not.
Okay. Anyway, it's like what do they call that stuff where you light those little punks for
incense?
It's like incense.
Yeah, incense. Yeah.
Except that you use sage, which you're better off growing on your own property because it's from your environment. You light it and then you snuff it out. You have a big, you take a bunch of it, roll it up in a roll like a giant cigar, and then you let it dry, and then you light it up, but you blow it out so it just smokes.
Yeah, it's a bit like it's a bit more superstition.
Holy water too, but yeah.
Like superstition.
So it's like exercising the demons, kind of.
Yeah,
thing.
it's best to stick to holy water. It's best to stick to holy water, and I'm not knocking anybody's superstition or anything like that. I'm just saying it's best to stick to holy water in the name of Jesus,
and sound.
I don't mess with anything I don't understand, so I'll let them be.
Yeah, that's good. If they're not
Well, it's
bugging
good to
you,
know. It's good to know.
they'll just do their own thing.
It's good to know about this kind of things as well, because there's a lot of symbolism out there, and there's a lot of, like, we're talking about communication and stuff like that as well. That might be part of this, and you know, symbols has got a big meaning as well in the scheme of things. You know, if you walk into a situation, I recognise that. Oh, I'm just going to walk straight out. Like I said earlier, if I see a big crowd, I'm going to walk away. And maybe symbols.
Something that Steve talks about is the symbology or symbolism, I should say. Symbolism.
Yeah, symbolism. Yep.
Yeah, it's talking to.
It depends on what we're talking about, but yeah, when it comes to sounds and acoustic signatures, identification, stuff like that. Yeah, like I said, if you're walking along the road that you walk along all the time and you hear some noises you're not familiar with, you may want to not go to that direction because something might be going on you don't know.
Exactly.
How does that play within if you had a group or a mag or something like that? I think it was World War II where they had the keywords of thunder, flash, but they also had clickers, and like there'd be 2 clicks and 1 click and stuff like that. But surely that's a strange sound to somebody's environment,
right?
So how do you play both ways? How do you have signals between a group of 6 of you trying to get through stealthily without drawing attention?
Yeah, stay within eyesight and hand signals.
Yeah.
Just you all got to know your hand signal. I mean, that's military type stuff that I'm not familiar with because I was never
I'm not
in the
familiar
military.
with it either because I was in submarines.
Well, the stop signal. Everybody knows the stop signal kind of thing. Hands straight out.
Yeah, I can't remember the film, and it might just be Hollywood. I don't know if it's actually a thing, but it was where the clickers were,
I remember that. It was the one where the gliders landed and a bunch of them crashed.
But one of them heard the 2 clicks, and then he came out of hiding, like thinking he's seen his mates, and he got shot. And what he heard was the Car 98 click, 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 click.
Yep. And he thought it was the same sound.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was any truth to that, or if it was in the film. But yeah, just food for thought.
That's where you do things like local animal type calls, like a specific bird chirp or something like that. That nobody would really, they'd hear it and be like, okay, it's a blue jay. Okay, that's a sparrow. Okay, that's whatever. Yeah. People you don't want to know you're there. Little sounds like a chipmunk or something. But you do it enough times, or you have your own. It's coding, basically.
There you go. Thank you, Mark. It was the film The Longest Day.
Yeah, The Longest Day. Yep, I remember that.
Thank you very much. Yeah. No, I don't think it was Band of Brothers. I recently rewatched that for the 27th time. So it wasn't that.
27th time.
Honestly, I just...
Right, it's coming up to 10. I think I'm going to get off now and have an early one tonight, gentlemen. Thanks for having us on the show, Shadow.
Dear love.
God bless everyone in the chat. God bless you, everyone here. Yours, Chef. Guardian. Is Guardian still with us? Mike?
Yeah. Good one.
Have a good evening and take care of yourselves out there and be careful and be extra vigilant.
Definitely.
You got it. Have a good night.
You got it.
I'm half distracted this evening because I've got all my solar monitoring stuff up.
Yeah.
Because there's a giant sunspot pointing at us like the barrel of a shotgun right now. So just making sure we're not going to be without power for 100 years or so. Just I'm keeping an eye on it.
Wait, how can you be seeing a sunspot? You're in the dark.
Yeah.
Hello. Unless the Earth is flat and you got like a really good binocular and you can see the sun at 4,000 miles away.
I'm saying it's actually the SDO observatory with the A304 instrument measurement. So there you go.
That'll be something to watch later. I'm just, what time is it here? 5 o'clock. Yeah, the sun just went over the edge, so I'll get the glancing blow, but California is screwed. And so
is Texas right now. Okay,
Texas. Yep.
To be honest, if what I monitor for is things like the Carrington event scale things, if that hit or anything larger than that hit, it doesn't matter if you're on the dark side. That thing's going to affect everyone on a mass scale.
The Carrington event,
Yeah, definitely.
for like like a week.
What's that?
There's actually a very high probability of something like that occurring. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was saying I think that the Carrington event, I think that like the solar activity lasted for like a week. I think like for like a week straight.
Yeah, I mean the sunspot we've got at the moment is more or less the same sort of size and scale as the Carrington event because there was drawings done of it from people who observed it. So the sunspot's exactly the same sort of size and scale, but it all depends if an actual solar flare comes out. And as much as I don't want to fearmonger in any way, but this is the rabbit hole that took me from generally just prepared and a sensible guy who looks after his family to going down into massive prepping rabbit holes. And if you search it, it's not just people like me with a tinfoil hat on. It's Harvard professors. It's scientists. This thing, like Guardian just said, it's inevitable. Like a lot of people believe this is inevitable. We're just on a ticking time clock. X40 emitted from the sun in 2003, I want to say. Was it 2003? Something like that, but it wasn't facing us. If that had hit us, we'd have seen some effects. So it's just a dice roll at the moment.
I'm going to send you a video that I did about 2 years ago as well, Mark. I'll send it to you privately. So I don't bring light to it on the panel or whatever. But I did a very deep dive into the top 10 likely scenarios, realistic scenarios regarding SHTF and what it could look like. And like specifically when doing the deep dive, I spent about 2 to 3 weeks researching and really just going through like every single like point potential when it came down to the likelihood of things going wrong. And of course, number one being war, right? Because it's happened throughout history and it's one of those things that we can't really like escape. It seems to be part of human identity. But those type of weather disruptions were actually really high up on that list, higher than you'd think. It's
I have no doubt. Yeah.
So like war and then like the weather disruptions, absolutely. Like that's why when it comes to prepping, we should always prep for the lights to go off. And that's kind of like, and then without the electricity, if we have any encounter like that, the EMS services aren't available and we're on our own. And that's that's really what it comes down to. And absolutely, solar flares are horrifying.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
I was saying when I first started getting into the whole prepping thing, I kind of like Mike, into from general preparedness into looking at, specific things, like likely events, not so much, nuclear rockets coming in, but I started looking into actually EMP, and then that was when I crossed over the threshold with the CMEs too. I was like, oh dang, so that's because, like I said, one of the things that I always thought was weird when I was in the submarine service, how we were there'd be guys up there in command and control doing simulations of us, basically blowing up container ships and oil tankers, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's kind of weird. But then years later, not even years later, but like a year later, that's when I found out about, the authorities over there in the Panamanian Canal interdicting a North Korean flagged container vessel with an old Soviet era Scud missile inside the container stack, concealed underneath a bunch of bags of sugar. And I was like, oh shoot. And then that was like when everything started, coming together. I was like, okay, this is real. But then, like I said, and I looked into the Carrington event, it's like, that's equally just as bad, probably worse, because it's global. It's not isolated to the line of sight.
It's going to be the most beautiful apocalypse ever, though, because you will get the northern lights as far south as you can see. We saw for the first time this year just gone the how low down the northern lights came. People in the south of England were getting photos of it, and it was great, because it was a high geomagnetic storm. But I don't think it even has to be as powerful as the Carrington event was. The Earth's magnetosphere is not as strong as it used to be, and every hit weakens it slightly. So this is what makes me think. But let me just be clear to all the preppers out there: you don't have to go out and buy some sort of big radar shield and stuff like that. You're prepping the same. You still need food. You still need water. You still need stuff like that. When it comes to CME, generally you don't need small electronics in Faraday bags and Faraday cages and stuff like that, because it has to hit cables like power cables and stuff like that.
Hang on. I'm going to correct you on that. Okay. First off, I've got water specifically for EMPs. I've got water specifically designated for CMEs. I got water specifically designated for when tornado hits. I got water specifically for Civil War. None of that stuff is interchangeable. Okay, I've got rifles that are specific for each of those. No, I'm just kidding. But no, the biggest issue.
We're thirsty, Dios. Can we have the water? No, Mike, that's tornado water. Wait for a tornado.
Thank you. But anyhow, no, the biggest threat, though, as far as that's concerned, is making sure that said device, especially if it's like battery operated devices, they're not plugged in. Because we like to charge our phones, we like to charge our rechargeable batteries and rechargeable flashlights. That would be probably about the only weakness, unless you happen to have an isolated, power generating station that does not exceed a certain linear feet length, because the waves, the CME waves have to be able to grapple, because they're coming in so slow and it's such a broad spectrum wave. The length of wire, the length of current carrying conducting material has to be a certain length in order for it to couple.
And that's why it's the main grid, because it's power lines that it'll use as these antennas to get hold of.
Yep.
And one of the biggest risks that people under prepare for this is fire, because that's the wires coming in. What happened in the Carrington event was operators were shocked and stations set on fire at other ends of these cables.
Railroad tracks that caught fire.
Exactly. So fire is one of the biggest risks from this. Not just unplugging things, but your wiring in your house could be a risk. So make sure if you're prepping for that, you prep for fire, which you should do anyway. Prep for fires anyway, just in case.
Got fire extinguishers for, like I said, for the civil unrest fire extinguisher only, okay,
Yeah. I like that. Different prepper pots, no. How did they starve to death? The label said for civil unrest only.
Yeah, no, but the nice thing though about preparing for CME or like I said, man-made EMP event is, like, with the exception of nuclear radiation, it basically covers about 95, maybe 99% of every other event, every other thing that could happen, that's not nearly as bad. That includes, extreme weather, tornadoes. I mean, think about it. The grid gets knocked out. You're going to need to have some alternative, form of heat for your house during the wintertime. You're going to need an alternative way of cooking. So, like I said, they do, like I said, it kind of umbrella. It covers everything to an extent.
Yeah. Looking at different risks, there's some very specialist stuff. Like if you were looking at World War III, you might be looking at the CBRN stuff, the gas masks, fallout, things like that. But you've got to think, at the end of the day, what is prepping? It's what we need to survive, right? Warmth, shelter, food, water, defense. If you've got that kind of core of prepping, whether it's World War III, civil unrest, CME, EMP, you're kind of in a better situation than most of the nation.
I like that you actually mentioned water there twice, even if it was just by mistake. It actually is such
water. Yes.
Specifically after yourself and yours conversation about different water for different situations, like the right pH level for Civil War, pH.
I was making a joke how the preps are specialized, and like I said,
right.
That's my CME water, that's my EMP water, that's my civil unrest water, that's my Civil War water, that's my tornado water.
What if something happens that you've not prepped the water for? Can you just not have water?
If the nuclear power plant goes down, I got some heavy water.
What about the alien invasion? If you've not got water,
the alien invasion water.
That's holy water.
Like Specifically with your
pray.
water, like it's a really light prep to carry with you if you do it correctly. But if you get like a 2-liter bottle of concentrate mix, like something like that, that's got a lot of electrolytes in it as well, like you actually get the Powerade concentrate. You get Powerade, Energade concentrate, those sports drink concentrates that you can get. And it is obviously like a bit of a heavier item, and there's much more important items than you should be carrying.
I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to grab something.
No problem, Dios.
I got freeze-dried water. It only needs water. It's very light.
That's actually useful. That really
You should
is
sell
useful,
that.
Or barter it, yeah.
No, water. Do you know what? It's weird because obviously prepping's quite new in the UK compared to the US and a lot of other countries. It's still quite a niche in comparison. And water is still the thing I see most severely under prepped. People will have 90 days worth of canned food there. And don't get me wrong, in that can of carrots, in that can of peas, there is some sort of water in there. You will still get something.
Yep.
But the under preparedness of water, and I've got like 10 5-liter cartons of water. That'll do me. No, that's not going to do you. That's going to run out long before your food. You need sustainable, constant water, and it's the most underprepared thing. Is he showing us freeze-dried water?
No.
Oh no, it's the
Gatorade.
That's good stuff. That's so good.
Yeah, like I've got several cases of these in different flavors.
So what is that? Is that like almost like a branched chain amino acids, like a
it's just straight up
workout thing.
Just straight up powder. Just powder. This is the normal
electrolytes.
Just a normal ass Gatorade mix. That's all it is.
You can use it very little. Like you don't need to, specifically if it's in an SHTF and you don't know when you'll be able to resupply of something like that, you can actually use such a little bit of that powder to a 1 liter, pretty much make sure that you're capable of having like those electrolyte intake, and also water, like just to make things a little bit more interesting, because water gets really boring, like after a while, Yeah, that's also so good.
Yeah, like I said, I've got quite a few of these. I've got hot cocoa mix too, because like I said, one of my things is like being able to flavor my water, because like I said, I know, especially people like Nut and Fancy, it's a big no-no to them. Do not treat your water with bleach. That's what I do. Yeah.
So this is another thing that people should consider prepping. Creatine monohydrate. This is a flavored one. You can get one that has no flavor whatsoever, but it's what you get this from red meat naturally, right? But things like that might not be in abundance in SHTF. So substituting that will sustain your muscles, your size, your strength, and your energy. 5 grams, it'll last for absolutely ages. And it's the most researched supplement in the world. This is more research than paracetamol. All right. So it's the safest thing you can have. And as you see, suitable for vegans and vegetarians. There you go.
Creatine is amazing. Like I actually, whenever I'm working out, because quite often I'll be working out daily, and when I'm through those sessions as well, where I'm working out consistently, creatine comes in so useful. Creatine, absolutely, and I completely believe in all natural. I don't use any other stimulants, and I'm sure you're the same way as well. And when it comes to creatine, it's absolutely it's such a good a powerhouse of capability. And what do you see if you realize as a person gets older, like now that I'm facing 40 in a month and a half, right? Like it's such a big birthday for me, and at the age that I'm at now, there are natural ways where your body starts to just slowly, every now and again, just go a little bit less capable, from the time that you were 20, for example. So obviously something like creatine can absolutely make such a big difference.
And it really does. I mean, this is the first time I've gone flavored, and I do quite like the flavor. It's like a tropical, so it is quite nice, and I have it as a drink instead. I used to just get the unflavored, a 5 gram scoop in my coffee in the morning. You can't even taste it. You don't even notice it. It becomes routine. It does make a massive difference, genuinely. Anyone out there, I know people in the 60s that it's made a difference to. I know people with muscle wasting diseases, which they prescribe it to practically. It's just a good thing. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. I've not seen the Gatorade stuff over here. I'm gonna have to have a search for that though. Is it just called Gatorade concentrate?
I'm sure you could get it online. You could definitely order it. I'm 100% sure that you could. And then when it comes to speaking about how few people are preppers and that as well, There are like a couple of local people that prepare here, like they're actually almost like a extreme, like some people view them as extremists to a degree. And I won't even mention like the group's name that preps here in South Africa. But like, because a lot of people here struggle the way that we do, like prepping is seen as something that's such an unnecessary thing because people are struggling as much as you can imagine because of the economy. So like when it comes down to like how many people prep, I'm an extraordinarily niche, like because of the fact that I'm prepping. Like I can never speak to in any conversation publicly. I've never had a conversation about prepping to anybody ever, and they've been like, yeah, of course, that makes sense. Very seldomly, like it's almost like 1% of the conversation. So I learned quite early on, like I've been prepping for about 2 decades now, and like I learned pretty early on that it's just best to not mention it. It's best to not even like speak about prep, like in general.
I found that used to be the case here, and I'm an advocate of it, right? I'm the idiot that's gone on national radio 5 times trying to promote prepping, all right? So I'm an advocate of it because the more people that prep, the less people you have to save. But I found here, like 3-4 years ago, if I was talking to my friends about it, they'd be like, yeah, you nutter, you're going to be on your porch with a shotgun and cans of beans, etc. I talk to them now, anytime in the last 18 months, and now they get it. They see in the news, people are starting to realize, yeah, it's probably a smart idea, actually. They don't follow up, and they don't do it. I get the classic line of, oh, well, if it happens, I'll just come to your house. But, you know.
Or no, grab it back when the thing happens. That's such a comment as well. I know where my stuff is. I'll just grab it quickly. Like, what stuff are you talking about? Have you actually, like, researched the best, like, water filters that are out there? Have you actually used any of the gear out in the field? Have you tried and tested like any of your actual equipment that you have? Do you have the knowledge of what you can and can't eat in your like local region? Do you realize like where you're staying and what the capable like pathways to exit the town or city or village, wherever you are? Like there's so much that goes into like actual preparedness. And then for you to have a conversation and to say to somebody like, maybe you should just prepare for the worst case scenario, and they're like, oh, okay, whatever. Like
I've had conversations like this. Believe it or not, I've actually had I'm kind of in between, kind of keeping my mouth shut but not saying anything. But I've had it where I had I had a reefer unit on my trailer breakdown, so I had to go to a mechanic shop, and while I'm waiting for the electronic payment to go through because the company's got to pay for the reefer to get repaired, I'm sitting here and I'm chatting with this mechanic who found out he's a former Marine, and I didn't say anything. He brought the conversation up, and I lightly kind of led into it, and it's like before I knew it, bam, we were just having a full-blown conversation about preparedness. It's like, he's like, he's talking about, like, I think he was way more ahead of the curve than I was. It's like he already had a bunker, he already had cache systems already set up, he already had places for his wife and daughter to hide out, and he was just gonna basically take on the world. It's like, damn, okay. It's like, nice. I think you're way ahead. I mean, it's like, but it's just like that's when we started conversations about CMEs, EMPs, and all that stuff like that. And it was just like, it was great. It was refreshing. But like I said, that's the way I kind of am. I might loosely lead into it a little bit, but like I said, there's some people. It's like anymore now. It's like I think a lot of people are starting to see the utility of it. Especially now. Bushcraft 101.
Someone just for the comment that was in there. So yeah, bushcraft.
That is by far that's the Bible of bushcraft in a lot of ways. The modern Bible of bushcraft.
Oh, hey, you just maximize the screen again there. There we go.
Yeah, I have that one.
That's so good.
Dave Canterbury.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Good guy. Very good guy.
Survivor man.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, Les Stroud's the survivor man. He's Dave Canterbury and Cody Lundeen. They were the dual survival.
This is a great one as well, and I'll just mention I've got 2 copies of this, so I need to give one away, so I'll be doing that shortly, but this is a great one for anyone as well. Practical water storage and stuff like that. It's a very great, it's great for your buggins as well. So
that looks like a good book.
It is. It is.
I don't have that, but I don't have that one.
You'll have to keep an eye out for what competition I do then, Shadow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
accept
well, typically
bribes.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Mors Kochanski as well, Dios?
Say again?
Are you familiar with Mors Kochanski?
No, I can't say I've heard that name.
So Mors Kochanski is actually there's a whole knife brand, like a knife company as well, that is dedicated to the way that he was when it comes to bushcraft. He's absolutely one of the biggest bushcrafters out there, and he hails from the same place as you as well. So definitely do yourself a favor. And he's actually an older gentleman. He had been bushcrafting his entire life. And Mors Kochanski is somebody that, if you look at some of his disciplines and some of the schools that he opened up throughout the United States and I believe some of them in Canada as well, he's absolutely one of the most world-renowned bushcrafters. So, like, when it comes to you were speaking about David Canterbury, Les Stroud, and Mors Kochanski, and there's another one as well, David Pearson. David Pearson as well is quite a good friend of mine when it comes to somebody that I'm familiar with as well. Definitely.
There you go, Guardian.
Yep, that's it right there. That is Mors Kochanski is amazing. Do yourselves a favor, and if you do appreciate bushcraft as well, go through some of this, and I promise you, you'll take away so much knowledge. Yeah, there's some of the general feather sticks as well. If you go down further, it really gets quite advanced, and just his way of explaining it.
Oh, look, lots of people need that skill. Lots of people need this skill. I've seen it done badly so many times. Sharpening using a stone. That's a really good thing to have. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I love it. It is. It's definitely worth looking at. I don't know if you guys, just to close on that side of things as well, if you guys have watched the Alone series, it's definitely one of the better survival outdoor kind of shows as well, where just people are put in realistic scenarios that aren't as Hollywood as some of the other shows, some of the other survival shows. If you're going to watch a survival show and you really want something
sounds familiar, I'm trying to think. Alone
is good.
I saw a couple of those. They're okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they've done it's Alaska based, I believe, the one I watched, and it's they've done Brits that went over and did it as well. But yeah, that's really good. It's because that shows the psychological aspects of survival as well, which is really interesting.
100%. And that whole thing, if you're speaking, as soon as you mentioned psychological sides to things, we all know Nate over with the Canadian Prepper. And actually, even though people might have things against the fact that it's so commercialized, he was genuinely one of the first YouTubers that actually was advocating for prepping and got a lot of people into prepping. So I've actually got a lot of.
To Canadian Prepper's credit, I did like when he did the psychological aspect.
Yes, sir.
When he was very grounded and just kind of documentary. With
pre 2.5 years ago, it was good stuff. I watched it all the time. Or 3 years ago. Yeah. After that, he started going commercial, and that's okay. Now he's doing the World War whatever updates. I'm like, oh,
because it's what sells. It's what sells.
The fear mongering. That's when I shut him off.
But yeah, even though he may, people may have things, pros and cons to all of us.
I have a question for Mike. Hey, Mike, isn't it like a glass sheet over there by now? I mean, didn't Canadian Prepper say you guys got nuked 43 times?
Oh yeah, we've been in and out of our bunkers more times than the local hedgehogs have been up and down underground. It's just, it's absolutely insane. I love it when people half know the news and put a spin on it. And I watched some fear mongering channels that weren't preppers, but they are these news hog ones. When there was the stuff with the royal family, and they're jumping on it, and they're coming up with these conspiracy theories. And I'm trying to comment in I'm sat in England right now. This is not happening. You're full of crap. But it just gets completely blocked by the moderators.
It's all about what is it, Dabu 7 or something?
Yeah, Dabu 7.
He's another one. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man,
I've got some things to say about him.
The only thing I got out of him a long time ago is when somebody sent in something when he wasn't too wackadoodle. And there's UN vehicles parked near this truck depot in Maryland. I'm like, oh shit, that's 10 miles from my fucking house.
Yeah.
I drove over there, and yep, he wasn't kidding. They were parked
Is it
everywhere. It was like
Dabu 77? Is that who it is?
Yeah, Dabu
he
0777 something.
He calls himself Dabu 7, but I think it's like Dabu
Yeah.
77 or Dabu
Underground World News.
Yeah,
that's him. Yep.
That sounds like him. Yeah, oh man.
Its graphics are fresh from the 80s. I love it.
Oh yeah.
That guy
Yeah,
he
but
absolutely grinds my gears, man.
I've got to say, Dios, like that whole thing about that psychological element to it, to everything that we do, like the true deep dives into the psychological like elements of why people prep and why you should and what people go through and what people have been through in history as well, right? So it's just like that element in the human mind and the way that people approach certain things, like that is genuinely like the type of content that I enjoy when it comes to like the mind frame and the mentality that people have.
Yeah. No, like I said, I was gonna say with Dabu, man. Like I kind of shut him off though when he started accusing back in 2000. I think it was 2022 when he was accusing the U.S. military veterans for the upcoming food shortages. I'm like, hang on, wait a minute. What have you done, mister? You've been a freaking professional, what do you call him? God damn it.
YouTuber.
No, not YouTuber, but
fearmonger.
Not fearmonger. I mean, he's been that, but what the hell you call it? When they're constantly going to protests and rallies and what the hell you call it?
Agitator.
Not agitator. No. Gosh dang it. I hate it when I forget terminology. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts.
That's those chemtrails messing with your brain.
No, I think part of it's probably the TBI, to be honest with you. That's what happens to me. I forget my train of thought and some shit. But no, I don't think that guy has worked a full-time job in his entire life. He's just been
he makes money off of YouTube.
He's been on YouTube. He's been going to these stupid rallies and protests and all this stuff, and he's like trying to act like he's cutting edge of news and everything. And maybe he was at one point in time. Maybe he was in the beginning, but towards the end there, like I said, about the same time that Canadian Prepper went off the deep end, that's about the same time he went off the deep end too.
Yep.
I'd say
that's when YouTube started pulling back their funding, so they had to start changing their style.
Yeah.
So, and I get it, but yeah, way back in the day, I used to watch him, you listen to him because you never saw him. It was just him talking with the blinking microphone on that old 1980s picture. And I would listen to him. He had some interesting stuff to talk about.
He did.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
All of the YouTubers that we probably grind our teeth at sometimes have nuggets of knowledge, and you've just got to be able to sieve through some of the shit to find some nuggets.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, freaking.
Are they not doing the smart thing? Sorry, go ahead.
Corey, aka Sasquatch, he shows up on the live chat and Steve's live streams. When I was staying at his house, he was watching. What the hell is that guy's name? Fuck, man, there's a bunch of them, man. It's like these are guys that I don't really care to listen to, but it's like, yeah, but they have good information. It's like, yeah, I guess so, but it's just like, man, you're just supporting the enemy, man.
The information's good. It's the rhetoric that's all messed up.
Yeah.
But isn't it so? Maybe I'm wrong on this, right? But because I do understand that YouTube in its fundamental form was designed so that people could have a reflection kind of themselves onto like a platform. That's why it's YouTube, right? Like it's YouTube.
Yeah.
So like that's where unfortunately that has fallen away to some degree, because YouTube channels that are successful will always almost be around a specific topic. Like my channel is Guardian Prepping. So obviously on my channel, for the most part, I try to keep it relatively close to preparedness. But then what happens is the community that you form, like there are other things that I'm interested in as well. But it's just like, it's that bridge to kind of cross. You just kind of have to merge that. But what I really wanted to get on at is, if you are trying to be successful on YouTube, and if you are growing a business,
I'm not talking about step one there. Sorry, Diggs. I'm not talking about step one. That's a different guy.
All right.
Anyway, go ahead, Guardian.
So the point that I'm making about it is that if it is for prosperity and success sake for us growing like on YouTube, right? Wouldn't it be strategic and wouldn't it be the smarter thing to do to actually like rile up your views and to get the attention? It's the only reason why media houses, and I've mentioned it, the only reason why newspapers sell is because there is that like draw to it, like, oh my God. And then the algorithm picks up on that about how many people are like watching and how many people are interacting with it. So if you do have a hot topic to bring up that you really like feel that could, and I don't do this at all, and I wish that I did, because if I did, I would definitely, potentially be a lot more successful on my channel. But so what I'm saying is that it is strategic, and should we mock people that are doing something successfully?
Okay, I skirt the line of this, right? I flirt with the dark side on this subject. Because in my eyes, if the channel grows, more people become aware of prepping, and hopefully they then go into the deeper dive content, in the proper content, and it helps them out in that way. And you have got to be a bit clickbaity with thumbnails, because that's not a case of, that's not a falsehood. That's not like pulling the wool over somebody's eyes. I'm not putting like bikini clad women on my thumbnail, then you load up a middle-aged white fat guy from England. I'm not doing that. But you've got to have an impact, because if 20 people do a video about something that's happened, people are looking across a sea of thumbnails and they've got to want to click it. So you've got to kind of skirt that line with stuff like that. But it's a difficult one. I think genuinely people out there I've seen doing what I do. I try and give it more to the community. That's why I do the podcast. That's why I do the things like Shadow does here. And it's all about building the community. I've seen so many people thinking, oh, look, he's got 10,000 subs. I can do that. I can do this. Start a channel and become disillusioned. If you want to make money from YouTube, you either need to be gaming in a bikini or doing absolute fail videos, all right? Don't do prepping. It's a rare case that somebody like Canadian Preppers up to millions of subscribers. It's a very rare case.
Started so long ago before YouTube went that direction.
And because he's so big, he will dominate anyone in that market in the region.
Same with City Prepper, same with Urban Prepper USA, not UK.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's it. And so you're never going to make money off it. I make a bit of money. I've open and honest. I've even shared my screen that tells people how much money I've made in 1 month. It pays for everything I do. This software that Shadow's on at the moment costs, I mean, I think it's up to about 60 or 70 quid a month now, isn't it, Shadow? They keep putting the price up for StreamYard.
But you work your ass off, Mark. Like you can see that you work your ass off on your channel. Like you definitely put so much grunt and like heart and like sweat into what you're doing that it's not something that's easy. Just like put up a video and then boom, there we go.
And what I'm saying to people, if you love to do that, do it, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you going. You're not going to be a YouTube millionaire starting a prepping channel. Now, I'm not bothered about competition. If you want to start a channel tomorrow, let me know. You can come on the podcast and I will promote you till the cows come home, and I'll send you as many subs as I can. It's what I like to do. But I just want you to be grounded in reality, that you're not going to start a channel and 2 weeks later be CP level. It's just not going to happen.
I started my YouTube channel, I think, I'm going on like 13 years ago now, the Chef Tech one. I just chose the name. I got lucky because I chose it. Nobody else did. And, I did that, but it was back then. It was more for like, you're watching cat videos and just fun things. And I was putting like my videos up of like my dog towing me on my skateboard. Since I never took it down, I just made it private because I put a Pink Floyd song on there, not knowing anything about YouTube. And man, they ripped that music off of there in a heartbeat. Okay, sorry about that. So I just made it private. I had one of a chipmunk, one of a squirrel. It was more for my family and that to look at. And just that was it. But now it's like, I don't even want to put that shit up there anymore, because think about it. All these videos from 13 years ago, there's got to be almost trillions of videos that they are storing somewhere. Where I could pull up my video that's been online now for 13 years. It's still there. The quality's good. Everything's fine. Where are they storing this stuff? They must have these massive data centers to hold it. So yeah, they need their money. That's the advertisers and all that stuff, but they make money with the advertisers. But they if you read the fine print, they own your video. Once you post it, they own it. They own all of it. So that's why I'm like, I'm really not. I'll put up some random stuff, but nothing, personal.
It's funny. I actually have a channel that I started up a long time ago, about 15 years ago, 14 years ago, somewhere around there. And it was a voice acting channel. And like, I'll go back to it every now and again just to like laugh about it in a way, like every like second, third year, whatever. And like, it's still right there. Like, it's very true what you're saying, Chef Tech. Like it's, it's funny.
OPSEC nightmare this at the moment. So completely in a circle, saying this to the entire internet. There's a channel of me and my family when I was with my ex, and the kids wanted to do it because they were watching all these YouTubers. So it's literally me and kids and the family doing stupid stuff like filling a paddling pool with Orbeez, eating challenges, random stuff like that. And I love it because every so often it doesn't get any traction at all, because I did it because it was something to get the kids involved with. But I love going back every so often and just watching it. It is a great bank of memories.
It's like home videos for public viewing. Yeah.
We're in the first generation, as long as YouTube stays up. So we're speaking about like obviously EMPs and that type of thing. But like realistically, we are the first generation where we are able, like if you look at like for example, I've got that very small fitness channel that it's more for accountability than for like trying to grow it and do things like that. But for the most part, like just the aspect and the fact that our great grandkids and our grandkids, as long as YouTube stays alive, will be able to come back. You can't go and see your grandfather now on a live stream. Like you can't go back and like go look at your great grandfather and see what he was doing on YouTube or anything like that. There was nothing like that. So we are actually the first generation that can document, and that's a powerful thing, where we can actually document like a lot of what we're saying and what we do. And not that my grandson or great grandson would really be interested in doing so, but if he did, and if YouTube was still up, he could come and like listen to all of these live streams and all of these chats that we're having, because it would interest the hell out of me to hear what my great grandfather was speaking about and the way that he saw things. And it'd actually be like, I wouldn't do it all the time, but I'd definitely like check around and see what it was all about.
Get a perspective of what way things were when they were.
Exactly, bro. Yeah.
I mean, I'd hate to see how that conversation goes in 100 years' time. It's like, what was things like when you were when Granddad was still alive, and then they tune in to see the ice bucket challenge and people eating a spoonful of cinnamon.
Yeah.
I mean, I just depressed because when I look back on it, I'm so young, and I'm like, I used to be a lot slimmer. So that's the Shadow. Check that out. I've just put on there. Yay! There we go. 190 subs, but we did loads of random stuff. But it's just good memories. And to share the age is this kid here now is the one that's made me a granddad. So this is a long time ago.
How long ago was this channel?
I don't know where you see that.
Is it your channel?
2017. It's not that long ago, really, but what's that?
That's your channel?
Yeah, it was, yeah. I can't remember. I have no longer have the access to the email, so I can't get back to it. So it will live there forever now without anyone being able to touch it. That's my other channel as well. That was the whole health side of things. But yeah, that got to 1,000 and then just hit a brick wall, and I just left it. And that's the news. We don't need the news. Sorry.
It's so good to have this channel and have accountability in that way. I found that like even through my Guardian Quest challenges and that, and doing that type of thing, like it's just nice.
It was great. Yeah, definitely. I lost 3 stone on Keto Guardian. And I was looking for channels where it wasn't some super ripped, no offense, American guy going, yeah, if you want to look like me, you've got to eat like this with frigging washboard abs. I was like, where's the fat middle-aged guy with no time and 3 kids? So I was like, right, I'm going to make this channel. And I thought I'll do it fat to fit. It just never quite got to the washboard abs moment, but it was good to... It made me stick to my diet because I had to make videos. It made me go to the gym because I had to make videos. It was literally like having a gym buddy poking you in the back. So it was good for that.
So I don't know if you are actually aware of, I don't really speak about that at all on this channel. But what you can do is if you go to Guardian Fitness, Guardian Fitness is pretty much exactly that. Where I'm on day, yesterday I uploaded the day 400, which was 84,000 push-ups documented on that channel as well. And it's just like that was the same thing.
I've seen it. You're insane.
Yeah, so I'm still going to try and do it. I really want to break the world record, and I really mean it. Like I will one day, and I just got to try and like consistently keep working up to that.
That's mad. So day 400, 1 day ago, 84,800 push-ups. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's been a long time. It's the most boring content you could ever watch to some degree, because it's obviously just like, it really is super boring, because it's just somebody doing push-ups. And push-ups, you actually need to balance it out. You can't just spam push-ups. You need to do things like dead hang and active hang and actually get like a full workout in to some degree. That's where walking is also really important. And like you'll see like a lot of like the other acrobatics and stuff that I do. But the main point about it is, if you guys really want to be accountable to yourselves, start a YouTube channel and actually like document what you're doing day by day. And you'll see how you're almost forced to do it. Even if you get like 10 subscribers or something, or people that you care about, you know, what they think or something like that, like people, family members, for example, or something that you try and have, you know, certain rapport with. So basically put it up there and try and, you know, consistently get at it. I was, what you're saying, Mark, I was overweight. Where I started that, go to day one. If you ever at that channel, go to day one and see where I was. And you'll see exactly what I'm saying, that like, I was overweight. Like I was definitely overweight. I could feel like I was.
But you can. I'm literally hovering over the thumbnail, and just the shot of your body in that, you can see it's not as defined and stuff on day one.
Yeah,
definite. That's insane.
And if you look at day 365 on that channel, you'll find the end of that first year where I did it every single day. And then I took a really long break. I took about a year. And then now recently I've just gotten like from 365, and I'm working like the last 25 days or whatever, 25 to 30 days I've been getting back into it. But I left it for about a year because of like responsibilities and that. So if you look at day 3,
I know, I feel you.
Yeah, exactly. So day 1 to day 365, an incredible change. And if anybody actually wants to become a lot more fit, more muscular, more capable, like I can guarantee you that if you do that for a day, just 100 push-ups to 200 push-ups every day, you'll notice a remarkable difference by the end of a month. You'll look completely different. I promise you.
Challenge accepted, Guardian. I need motivation. I'm going to take that on. Come back to me on the 8th of December and we'll see.
You never need to listen to anything else I ever say to you again, Mark. I promise you, if it doesn't work, no, I'm willing to put like my actual name on this 100%. That if you go through at least just anybody listening to the chat as well, just try it for, and I really mean it, just for 1 month, try to do 100 push-ups, which can be 5 times 20 push-ups, right? That's all it is. 5 times 20 push-ups. Do that every day for a month, and I can guarantee you that your whole structure will change. The way that you feel, you'll feel younger, more vibrant, more capable, more confident. I promise you this. Mark my words, like in 1 month, you'll feel like a completely different person just from push-ups. It's the reason why the militaries and the reason why the prison systems, they all use push-ups for that reason. Calisthenics, because they don't have weights. You don't have to do like any sort of
using your own body weight.
You don't have to, right? Exactly.
I've popped the link in the private chat for you to have a look at after Guardian. It's only a minute video. That was my transformation initially, so you'll see the difference that I went through there. There's no washboard abs, so spoilers, you know. The keg just gets smaller.
Well done, dude. Get back to it, Mark. You got it, bro. You can absolutely do so. You're way young enough as well.
I have to. I've got my interview with the army on Tuesday. I've got an army fitness test to pass that I passed when I was 17-year-old last time. So there's a couple of years on me since then.
No, you got it. I know you do. You'll ace it, brother.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the push-ups all this month.
I promise. You have no idea. You think I'm kidding. Like, and I didn't use anything else. No, I didn't use like any stimulants at all. But creatine. Oh, creatine's good. I'll give you that. Yeah. Creatine's. And also try to avoid sugar. Like, try to avoid sugar is obviously really, really bad. So try and cool down on the sugar if it comes to coffee. Maybe just one sugar in
Yeah.
your coffee. And
I don't have any sugars because of my time doing keto. I got in the habit of no sugars and stuff like that, and I see the missus put sugar on cereal, and I'm like, you're putting sugar on sugar, then pouring liquid sugar on it.
Also bread. If you can cut down on bread, try not to.
Bread and milk, yeah.
Bread's a bad one.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll sorry, we're completely off. Shadow's thinking this is the wrong channel, guys. We'll stop talking about fitness stuff. Fitness is a prep. It's a good prep to have, by the way, everyone.
It is the prep.
Indeed.
It is the most fundamental core of every prep. If you have all the gear and you have all the storage as well. And I hear what you're saying. We will get back to that in a second. But I absolutely think that it is the fundamental of everything we're doing. It is definitely comes down to what happens if you're in a situation, close quarters combat, and you have no ranged weapon, whatever, and it comes down to man versus man or any situation like that. You're going to need that fitness.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're
You've
truly still on
inspired
top.
me.
We are on topic here. So if you think about it, when Mike is doing those push-ups, he's looking for acoustic signatures going, oh crap, those are my knees making that noise.
And that is the sound of the final push-up, and I've shat myself.
Yeah, that was the sound of my wrist snapping because I'm so overweight I couldn't hold my own weight up. That's a viral video, right? I'm going to tie it all together. That little short 2-minute clip of you doing push-ups just went viral because your wrist just snapped 90 degrees.
Did you see that, everyone? Did you see that live happen in front of your face? Guardian built me up, and Chef Tech shot me right back down instantly.
Yeah, but you go viral, man. Come on, you get 1 billion views. Man, wrist snaps while doing a push-up because he's so overweight. Yeah.
Chef Tech shooting them down. Is that the fail video?
What's that?
I was saying that Chef Tech shooting Mike down. That's the fail video.
So why don't you, even if it's starting like a small side channel, if you want, Mark, but just for that 1 month that you said that you actually try and document it. Do you know what?
I'm going to record it. I'm not going to upload it every day, but I'm going to record the progress each day, and that'll be the first video back on that fitness channel because I've got access to that one, and I'll upload it on there in a month's time.
Perfect.
I'll even do some before and after photos. So, ladies, get ready.
I probably have 2,000 hours of video on my GoPro stored on a whole bunch of 2 terabyte hard drives of me building my cabin, mounting the camera on the tractor.
That's YouTube gold, mate. That's YouTube gold.
I know that, but I mean, I didn't really talk. I just filmed it so I could look back and go, oh shit, that's why that stud didn't match up with the board because it's 22 inches away, not 18. Whoops.
But that voice cut up and voiceover, that's YouTube gold for you.
Yeah, but I just haven't been in the mood to spend the time, and I put a little bit up, but I actually caught myself because I mount the GoPro on the T-bar on my tractor, and I don't talk. It's just watching me pushing trees over and picking them up and dumping them in a pile for just hours long. I caught myself watching my own video for like 2 hours. I was going to go on my camera, yeah, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, I've been doing this for 2 hours, watching myself for all I can see is the top of my head and my feet and the front of the tractor. I'm like, well, if I'm watching my own shit, maybe somebody else will watch it.
I don't blame you, Chef Tech. I really don't blame you for that. And that's actual proper calisthenics. That's moving around, picking up heavy stuff, like actually using your body, like moving around. That's the best thing you can do. Oh, yeah. Well, sitting on a tractor, maybe. I think my right foot and both my wrists get a workout in the bouncing up and down in the seat, wearing a seatbelt, and almost tipping over a couple times. Having a tree fall on my head once because I wasn't looking up. Fortunately, I was wearing my hard helmet for my chainsaw, bounced off my noggin.
There's the fail video. There's the viral fail video right there.
Yeah. Tree falls on my head while trying to clear property. Oops. So I got it all. I just haven't. I have to go. And fortunately, it's all date. It's all timelined on the GoPro keeps track of the time and the date and all that. So I got lots of them. I just did another one when I was out at the cabin of some stuff, and I just store it away for now. And I'll get back and file it and try to maybe do something. I'll probably put them all private first and then just pop them public over time.
I would definitely do that. Yeah. Good stuff.
What are they talking about? They're talking about chocolate powder. Oh, Cameron is Bowen's. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna hop off here. Wife's gonna be home shortly, and I got some more stuff to clean up. And
No problem,
Amy,
Chef.
thanks for having me on,
no
Shadow.
problem, Mark.
Yeah.
Later,
It's
George.
always a
I'll probably see you
pleasure,
tomorrow
Mark.
night. Mike, I'll
Later,
see you
Chef.
when you go on again. And Guardian,
Yep.
good to see you again.
Always good to see you, Chef.
See you later.
Alligator.
Oh, that old school.
Yeah, that's old school.
Yeah, so I'll close on my side as well with this, which is that obviously I'm well aware, like Mark, when I say that, when I recommend to you for you to like actually check that, like watching that journey and that's as well, I realize that there's that level of people don't like people being egotistical, and I get that completely too. And I think that it's very easy to, like, for people that aren't doing something that another person is, there's a certain underlying jealousy and type of resentment that naturally occurs. And actually, like, you will find a bit of that. You will find that, like, if you're getting into shape, even if you are actually like pushing yourself to do something like that, you will find people that actually have almost a negative.
Yeah. So when I started that fitness channel, I was managing a Sunday League football team, and about 3 months into the channel, one of the team players found it. So I got stick galore off all of them, right? Constantly. Because, they would just take the mick out of my intro and all sorts. But I thick skin. It's all right.
That's
I just made them do shuttle runs. That's fine.
Yeah. So just obviously, like, when it comes down to people, you always got to take them for where they're at as well, and just be like, just understanding. So if a person is being like a bit grumpy with you or something like that, some people just like would find it easier to complain about people doing something like that than actually do it themselves. But it's just like, it is something, I promise you, Mark, I can give you my honest word that if you do it for just 1 month, and just even if you start off like every day 50, like 5 times 10 every day, like it makes, because it's an amazing form of cardio. So I really wish you the best with it. And I mean it when I say try and like record it, and you notice the difference. In 1 month, you'll absolutely see a huge difference. I promise. You'll feel a lot younger.
Yeah. I'll document it. I'll show you the video, and I'll either be saying, "Guardian, look at this, thank you," or I'll say, "Guardian, look at this, you're full of crap. It didn't work." No, I'm joking.
No, if it doesn't work, that's why I said if it doesn't work, you never need to like.
He says, "Yeah, but Mike, you're doing push-ups straight into an ice cream bowl."
What was the thing about you doing keto again?
Yeah. And you can make keto ice cream. It's made out of cheese. So there you go.
Cheers, you guys. Bye for now.
Yeah, Guardian, check out that little 1 minute video that I did link in the private section after you go. It's just show you what I did originally.
Also, before that, there's also another video that I linked to where it was on the Guardian Prepping channel, where top 10 ways the world could end. So it's actually just a bit of an interesting look at like the research, and it took me about a month to create that video. So a lot of
I've loaded it up, and it started at 23 minutes 59. I might have already watched it.
It did.
Oh no, he must have the timestamp on it. That's fine. I'll watch that. I've got that queued up. I'll have a look.
All right, bye. Well, cheers for now.
Cheers, Guardian.
Take care, Guardian.
See, if Bob's on Shadow, I come onto this stream and it costs me money. Now Guardian's on, it's cost me energy because I'm gonna have to do this for a month now. Every time I come on your stream, it costs me something, man. Love it.
Yeah,
it's a great group.
Yeah, it is. I agree. Definitely. It's a good group. Good community.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's weird how so many people are scared of the prepping community. Like it's some sort of niche, and there is people like that. I get that, some proper survivalists, but I've never not met anyone welcoming and friendly in this community. You get 1 or 2 assholes, but that's in everything. But genuinely, most people so good. with advice, with help, everything. So it's great.
Yeah, Shadow probably remembers as well as I do that one guy that was hassling Bob. This was like right before I got to be on Shadow's live stream. Oh, this one guy, he's a Vietnam vet, and he was just, oh man, he was just tearing into Bob, and it's like, and calling Bob a coward for wanting to go live in the Philippines, and it's like, man,
you get them, you get them, unfortunately, and it's
yeah,
they're the people that
he was claiming to be special forces, and he was a sheriff's deputy, and blah blah. Okay, maybe he was a sheriff's deputy, but I doubt he was special forces, because most of those guys that, I should say, I've only personally ran into one confirmed special force. Well, no, I'll take that back. I ran into two confirmed special forces guys. Two.
Yeah,
And
often
they were both tight-lipped.
Yeah. It's the Walter Mitty's of the world. We know what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the people that have, if you've been to Tenerife, they've been to 11 Reef, or if you caught a fish this big, they caught a fish this big, right?
Yeah.
Fun. We should probably let Shadow go to bed though.
Yeah.
And just look at he even dropped a subtle hint of taking his glasses off, like, I'm really tired, guys.
Yeah. Actually, I'm pretty tired.
I'd say we pretty much, I think we've hit the nail on the head on this one, and then we went a little bit further. I've got nothing else
just
to
a bit.
add, so.
Yeah. Good subject.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of it, or at least for what I knew, could be summed up in probably about 15 minutes. So not very much of a live stream.
Yeah. I mean, I think people like that though. You've got a topic, you cover the topic in the first hour or so, and then you just let the conversation flow naturally. Otherwise it feels forced, right? If you're just talking naturally, as long as we're vaguely on prepping, it's relevant, right?
Yeah.
Right, I'll jump off and let you do your goodbyes and stuff, because I'm going to go and watch Guardian's video before I hit the hay. So everyone from my side, thank you very much for tuning in. Shadow, thank you for having me, sir. It's been a pleasure as always.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me on there, Shadow.
Good to see you again,
Dios.
Bye, guys.
Later, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
All
okay,
right.
guys. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, yeah, later, man. I'm sorry.
Okay, guys. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I will see you next Saturday, same time, same channel, a new topic. And remember, be part of the solution, not the problem. And we are out.